Can you see this?
Who knew that alligators could be so cute?
Ang kupu-kupu. Taprak biya rame kalamalam minum cucu. Ore! Ore minum cucu. Minum cucu, minum cucu.
Who knew that alligators could be...
This is an alligator. And here, can you see this? This is a crocodile. That's not an alligator. The other one is smaller. Both of them are like reptiles. Let's put it that way. They are in the same category as the lizard and the snake from the other video. Both of them are both of them are friendly, both of them have teeth, both of them look like something that would live in the water. But the one of them is defensive, the other one is attacking you. Bestie, Ze, whoever the fuck is watching me, my father is the alligator, Zeus is the crocodile, and if you say both of them were cute, yeah, that's how they will appear to you both if you talk to them. But the problem is that the one of them is lying. The one of them is not an alligator. The one of them is a crocodile pretending to be an alligator. And if you think my example in theology is unhinged, welcome in my channel. I am Helga. I am a prophet. I'm 24 years old. My ex has dumped me for a particular no reason, and I actually make these videos for him, but I don't think he cares about me anyways. So hope you like my videos. And yesterday I was watching a video of the Muhammed Hijabs. What the fuck is that? Muhammed Hijab had made a video on IslamNet with another person about stuff they are saying about the Quran. I'm gonna end this video today. I was very interested. I will actually put it in here if that is ready. And actually I found a video. That one is gonna be a surprise for the next round because I'm gonna play my gameplay for quite some time today. I will try for fucking 3 hours again. What the fuck is the video though? I can't find the video. Fuck my life. So I'm not gonna spoil what the fuck that was, but yeah, I found something very, very stupid, but probably entertaining. Fuck my life. Probably entertaining. So I will analyze first the Islam one, and then I will put the video of the idiot. So that will be probably a reaction video, I suppose. It's 14 minutes, as you can see, the surprise. If I have time with the video that I'm gonna give you here, then I will go back to Islam and maybe find apostate prophet David Wood speaking with Muhammad Hijab. But first I will do this in order. First I'm gonna do the video that I didn't finish yesterday. Then I'm gonna do the surprise video. Then I'm gonna do, if I have time left, some of apostate prophet and David Wood. And hopefully sometime this week, hopefully I will be able to play Mario and explain bullshit Christians say, because I have explained atheists, Muslims, pagans, and still I haven't spoken about Jewish and Christians. I haven't ever reacted to a Jewish video myself, like a person from Zionism or Judaism or whatever speaking about God, so I'm gonna do that as well, so stay tuned. So I actually pause the video to focus a little bit. I have chocolate, as I said, even prophets eat chocolate. I have pineapple Mario Bros. Obviously, Mario. Ta-da! Mario Bros. Pineapple juice, obviously. You drink better your juice when you're drinking it in a Mario cup from the cinema. And I will go to buy the next Super Mario Galaxy cup when the movie will be released. And yeah, that's Christmas cup, but this is my cup of coffee actually, because the cup that I'm using for my coffee is better to keep it warm. That makes sense. So just checking. Okay, so let's put the fucking video, because I wanna oops, my headphones. I had still my earphones, actually not headphones. My earphones were still plugged into, let's put them here, into my phone, the head jack. Put the video, and then let's find it first. There, where is it? Fuck my life, I lost it. I found it. Okay, so I will finish the video, and then I will go to the video, the stupid funny video that I said. Okay, so let's plug that. Thank you. Down here. Okay.
Which means that there's been a corruption process. Okay. You don't find the equivalent in the corruption.
Okay, so he had said that there are stupid idiots that have done this in the Bible in the West, and I explained. I will sum up again. He is partly correct. Yes, there are people in the West, Europe and America, that have done this shit. Yes, there are altered versions, and I have no idea why this happens, but at the same time, he is ignorant, and that's not his fault. That has to do with the universities and the scholars, and I have no idea why the fuck they are doing this. I suppose that's a campaign against my dad again. They don't speak about the Greekness of the Bible anymore, because I assume he's speaking about the Greek text, doesn't he? Because he is familiar with the Greek text, but that doesn't mean he knows what shit has gone down in history with the Orthodox and the Catholics and so on. So what I'm saying is, yes, he's correct. There are like Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormon Bible, there are many translations I don't agree with in English. Not all of them. I can say the Wycliffe Bible, the King James Version, the American Standard, like if you are interested, the Gideon Bible. I like them. I don't like the New International Version at all. Whenever I pop myself into the New International Bible, I like how the language sounds like it's very, as it says, like New International, definitely, but at the same time I don't like at all how they have translated. So yeah, on the one hand it is modern translation, but on the other hand they don't have translated the text very accurately. If somebody wants to see a Bible that is close to the original source, aka, and I agree with that, because the meanings change when you alter shit, like the Greek, like how the Greek text looks like, but you don't speak Greek or anything, and you shouldn't know Greek. That's what I'm saying. But if you wanna have like this feeling, King James Version, Gideon, What else? I forgot the other name. The American Standard as well. I like this one. Um, any other? I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I can actually go in the Bible. Bible.com, isn't it? Um, Not my app, not my fucking app, not my app. I actually use any app. I don't mind because, like, I use any Bible myself because I am a Greek and it's not like whatever you give me. I know my my shit. You get what I mean? It's like I grew up with this book. It's the book of um that my country venerates pretty much. Like I grew up with the ancient text. I have a modern Greek translation that is like it's called apodosi, so it's not a translation actually. It's like you've taken the ancient text and converted it into Greek, modern Greek, so I can read it properly. Yes, I can technically read ancient Greek, but it's not enjoyable for me. I feel like I'm doing history class, so that's why I have opted for a modern apodosis. That's like conversion pretty much. Um, I have copies of the original text in my bookshelf, but I don't use them for my personal studying, reading, like for my enjoyment pretty much. I use them for studying for such videos, for example. I don't use them for myself, for personal use. I use them for professional use pretty much. Let's put it that way. I don't know. Can I access? Bible Caraway is actually what the heck? It's actually down. Um, I don't know if I can find any other Bible Hub. Bible Hub. That's a good one as well. Okay. So um, hold on a second. I will find it and I will tell you. So there are all these. So it is New International Version. Stay away from this. I don't like it. New King James Version. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. Okay. New King James Version, as I can see, is good as well. So I suppose it's an apodosis, like conversion from King James to New King James, like modern English, not Shakespearean. So okay, you can take and as well New King James Version. I suggest this as well. New Living Translation. New Living Translation. New Living seems okay. I know I know the Bibles by heart, the Bible by heart, by the way. So if you wonder how I can read it and be like that's okay, it's because actually I am familiar the the text. I know it by heart. I have written down many verses and I know it. Okay, Tyndale is good as well. Tyndale. Okay, a Wycliffe Bible is good as well, but I don't know if you will enjoy these versions. That's why I'm not suggesting them pretty much. But if you wanna pick, uh, if you're gonna pick a physical copy, I'm not quite sure if I can find. Okay, they have the Greek Orthodox text. If you can read that, can you see that's the original. That's the original. Okay, this is the original. Like he says, corrupted versions. That's not corrupted. That's the original. That's what we have in Greece, and it is 2,000 years old. These texts. These are the preserved texts that we have them. Greece is a country that is very meticulous with preserving texts. We have preserved the texts of our ancestors, the pagans. These are even older than the Bible. The pagan texts date from almost 3,000 years ago, like the Homeric poems. Homer lived almost 3,000 years ago, and we have his texts. Probably they were written by his disciples because he was blind, but you get what I mean. Like, we have the texts, we have them. They are attributed to Homer because he was the person who said the stories, but he was blind. He had to put somebody else to write them down. But we are very meticulous. We have tragedies from 2,500 years ago. We have the philosophical texts. Yeah, all these were preserved by the Christians in the Hagio Oros, and we have the Bible as well. So yeah, don't be shocked that we have the original text in Greece from the Bible, because we have even the pagan texts that are also like original texts, like not translations or whatever or other versions. No, they are the original ones, the ones that are written by Sophocles, Aeschylus, Rabbids, and so on. I'm calling them by their actual Greek names, by the way. If you wonder why I have this accent, yeah, I'm calling them as I call them in my country. So we have them, and don't be shocked. The Bible, for my understanding as a Greek, like, if you think that 2,000 years ago is very far away, for a Greek that's nothing. We have texts from even further back in time. We have texts that are dating almost 3.5 thousand years ago. Okay, so 3,500 years ago. We have stuff, we have like written speech in the Greek era, in the Greek area, sorry, that date back almost 4,000 years ago. So the Bible is modern text for our understanding. So I understand why a guy like Muhammed Hijab, he's a British, he's an Arab. The Quran is only 1,000 like 400 years old. That's impressive. I'm not saying it's not. It's ancient text, but at the same time, it's not as ancient as what we have in Greece. So obviously, if he heard what we have and we have the original ones, he will be bamboozled. And if you are like, Helga, what do you have from so back in time, like almost like 4,000 years ago? We have the Γραμμική Vita is called, like grammatic beta, I suppose. I'm not quite sure how to call it. Like the second one, that's a stone that has Greek upon it, and we can translate what it says, and it dates almost 4,000 years ago. I can't read that. It's very ancient for me. I can read Greek from 2,500 years ago, not so back further in time. That's almost Phoenician Greek. It's like almost like how we took the Greek alphabet comes from the Phoenician civilization. So we took the alphabet, we transformed it in the what you know as Greek alphabet, and then the Latin people, the Romans took it and they had the Latin alphabet. But our alphabet there is almost like a mix of the previous one with the next one, ours, and the Phoenician. Okay, hope I pronounce correctly with all the civilization. Phoenician, I suppose. We can translate this one. We have an even back in time script. It's called Grammic, I suppose. I don't know. A, alpha, the first one. We can't translate this one. It's so back in time. We have the inscription, we have all the letters, we have all the sentences, the structures, but we can't translate what the fuck it says. So it's a mystery even for Greeks what the fuck it says there. And I remember we were being taught at school that this is the most ancient form of Greek we have in our area, in the Greek Hellenic area, and unfortunately it's so old we cannot understand what it says. We have only translated the second one, which is a little younger, some centuries only, nothing more. But yeah, in the understanding of ancient, the Bible should be the original in the territory of Greece, because it's almost modern in our understanding. Like how I see modern text, in contrast, I suppose how Muhammed Hijab, who is not a Greek, sees an ancient text. For him, an ancient text is the Quran. For me, is Grammaiki Vita. You get what I mean? Like the Quran is modern literature for me, with this understanding that I have as a Greek. So obviously I agree with him. The Quran should be preserved as it is, because it's not so back in time, so we can lose it somehow. And so does the Bible, the Greek and the Hebrew ones. They're very new stuff. You get what I mean? So yeah, that's to sum up everything. I gave you some Bibles if you wanna read, if you are interested into finding a Bible that I approve. New King James Version. I saw New Living Translation is okay. My first and only pickup, if you want me to pick a Bible, by far, but I can't find it here, unfortunately. Is the Gideon Bible. When I read this Bible, I found it in a second-hand shop, and I purchased it because it was like for 50p, nothing. I took it for nothing. When I opened it, it was like I read the Greek text with the poetic structure that we have in the Bible in Greece, and the Hebrew one, like they managed to preserve even the Hebrew structure of the sentences we find in the Bible, and also they kept some sentences intact. They didn't like alter them inside brackets. I will explain what I mean. They didn't alter it so that it matches how a British speaker will understand English, but it kept it in line exactly how it is written in Greek and English, and just they put the asterisk and they explain underneath that this in Hebrew or this in Greek means this and that. And I liked that because it gave me an authentic, accurate understanding for the British speaker, because I know that many of them get confused by the Bible and what God says, because we speak differently than them. Even though they have taken our civilization, they are different people, they have different customs, they don't have to understand everything that we say in Mediterranean. So I like that. And if you can have your hands on a Gideon Bible, the Gideon Bible is my favorite Bible, even for personal use, to be fair. I like the King James Version because it reminds me of Shakespeare. Yes, it is very accurate, yes it is. The only drawback that it has for me is that at some instances it reads more like Shakespeare than the Bible, but each to their own. If you like reading such stuff, then take it. I've seen many people, even Sarah the witch that we were discussing about in the other video, she had said that this Bible is altered. No, it is not. It's actually very accurate Bible. They have done a very brilliant job trying to translate Hebrew and Greek into English. I applaud them as a native Greek for that. And Sarah, if you ever watch this, don't speak about civilizations you don't know anything about in terms of language, because you know my civilization, you know my culture, you worship my deities, you know a bit, but you don't speak my language. And no, the King James Version is not altered. I have laid my hands on it. I opened it personally to read it, to see if it is an okay Bible. I have a copy. It's a very good Bible, I say. The only drawback that it has is if you don't like Shakespeare and such 16th century slash 17th century literature slash language, it wouldn't be for you. But it's a very good translation, a very good text, a very good try of the British people to bring it to life, Scottish and English. I know they work together to bring this into life, and I really like that. I really like that. Yeah, some words are not exactly as they are in the Greek one, but that does not mean that they did it to uh, like alter the meaning of the Bible. They didn't do that. They just don't have the words because I can speak English and Greek is my first language. It's my native language. I was in Greece for 18 years since I was born. The British don't have these words. My language is very rich. We have more words than you guys have in Britain, in America and Australia, and yeah, that's why they haven't translated some sentences properly for a Greek understanding point. That makes sense, but it's not that they altered. They just brought the meaning as close as they can to the original with what the British language has, because the British language is a very poor language in my understanding as a Greek. My language is very rich in vocabulary. We have, I think, 100,000 words, like 100.000 words, and the English don't even have half of it. Not even 50,000 I had read in an article. I don't know if this is correct, but I had read that the Greek is double and something more in words. Obviously, you're not gonna have the exact same outcome, but that doesn't mean that it is altered. Altered is the Vatican Code of the Gospel of Mark. It is the Mormon. It is the how's that called? Jehovah's Witnesses. I forget the name. New World Translation, I think, is the name. The Jehovah's Witnesses is an altered Bible as well. So don't go there if you're interested. But I gave you alternatives. Okay. I collected some data on support as well. They are not great fighters, they are expert healers. Moreover, even if their weapons don't deal so much damage, they are prone to trigger super effects. Beware. Okay, so we can fight. I'll open my chocolate. How do I open my chocolate? I have some milk chocolate as well from yesterday. Okay, let's see what he says. Furthermore,
which means that there's been a corruption process, okay? You don't find the equivalent in the Quranic discourse. Now, on the other point that he made, where he mentions in Surah Yunus, that it mentions that فَاسْأَلَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ, that go and ask the people who have been given the book before you. Yeah, go and ask the people. You know, it's very interesting because Sa'id ibn Jubair mentions, according to Tabari, and I've checked the trend of narrations of the narration. Very interesting how he addressed this verse.
I can answer why it hasn't happened with the Quran. That's not a miracle. There's a very reasonable explanation why this has happened. It is because in the understanding of Zeus, you have always to keep the text intact, because for Zeus, yes, this happens even in Greek paganism, you have to speak word for word as you have found it in the text. You mustn't alter anything. You get what I mean? So for the Quran, like if you're gonna be a good pagan, let's put it that way, you're gonna preserve the book of Homer and the book of Plato as it is, and you're not gonna change it because this was a vocation by Zeus. You get what I mean? So that's why also the Quran is preserved like that. You have this tradition that it should be like that, intact, and it shouldn't change, because it was the direct word of Allah. And this is what we say also in paganism. They say that it is direct word of Zeus, the philosophical text and shit. So that's the one hand. The other hand is that because you have this tradition, you haven't really translated the Quran. Yes, you have translations from Arabic to English, but you don't have inside Arabic translations. You get what I mean? You have like one language and it is in Arabic, so you speak how many countries speak Arabic, and this is like a language that you all guys share. Like that's what I mean. In Mediterranean, it wasn't like that. We were speaking Latin, we were speaking English, Greek. We were speaking our dialects as well. We have a different way of doing our culture. Pretty much, that's a cultural thing. So if I was an ancient Athenian, I would also be speaking like I don't know where to go. Maybe I will go here. I would also be speaking Latin. Okay, and if I was an Israelite, I would probably speak Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. You get what I mean? So that's also a factor. And another factor is yes, Christians did sit with the Bible, but that's why the Orthodox Church differentiated themselves from it. That's why we we left the unity with what you know today as Catholic Church, because they were putting stuff in their oral tradition. They didn't change the Bible. They were putting stuff that they weren't found in the Bible in their tradition. They started venerating Mary as a goddess. They started venerating saints as deities, pretty much in our understanding. Yes, they deny it, but we can prove easily why we say that and why we think that they have done this. But that's another point for another video. They have added the filioque. I agree with the filioque, but that was not the initial plan that they had done with the Orthodox, and they added it and they didn't inform. They did a lot of shit, and that's why they left them, and that's why also the Protestants later had issues with them. They noticed that they are adding stuff that they weren't present in the Bible. They are adding them in the tradition. That's what I mean. They are not found in the book. They are adding them in the tradition, and that pissed off even the Protestants. So all I'm gonna say here is yes, this is a shit going on, but this is why we have treated heresies within the church, and we have all left one another, and this is because we see that some people see the book and they don't keep it as it is, and they just add stuff in the oral tradition. And in some cases, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, some people have altered the Bible ultimately, and that's why they are heretics for mainstream Christians. I'm not calling Jehovah's Witnesses heretics. I'm just explaining, if you are a Jehovah's Witnesses watching me, your Bible is altered, and you should read a Bible that is not saying that Jesus is the Archangel Michael or a creature. The original text in Greek says that Jesus is God, that Jesus is the person called Yahweh from the Old Testament. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say here.
Yeah, go and ask the people. You know, it's very interesting because aside the Jubair, he mentions, according to Tabari, and I've checked the train of narration, it's not authentic narration. Very interesting how he addressed this verse. Because the verse starts, if you are in any doubt of that which has been revealed to you, then go and ask the people of the book that came before you. That's what the verse says, yeah? Verse. Because the verse starts, if you are in any doubt from that which has been revealed to you, then go and ask the people of the book that came before you. That's what the verse says, yeah? فَاسْأَلَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. But I'm sure this man is clever enough to understand that this is a conditional. Conditional if you are in doubt. So what Asad ibn Jubayr mentions, one of the Salaf, the early people, and that's mentioned in Tabari's tafsir, ما شك وما سأل. He didn't doubt and he didn't ask. Do you see? If you're in doubt, go and ask. But he wasn't in doubt, so he did not ask. So it's irrelevant. There is no direct command in the Quran that tells the Prophet without condition to go to the Jews and Christians and seek ultimate authority for them in such a manner that would render the Quran itself as a secondary authority. In fact, all of the evidence shows the opposite. And I think that this argument has now failed. It's a weak argument. No one accepts it.
I can explain to you why what you say is wrong. but I unfortunately will not take the same route as you took. Like I will go line by line what you say.
That's what the verse says, yeah? فَاسْأَلَ
So
الَّذِينَ
the verse says, Allah says, if you have doubt, go to the people of the book. And you say this is a conditional, right? That's a conditional offer. It's not like something standard, right?
أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. But I'm sure this man is clever enough to understand
Yep.
that this is a conditional. A conditional.
Yeah, you get what I mean. Allah didn't say exactly don't doubt. I can give you an example from the Bible. When Apostle Peter was walking on the water according to the Bible, um, Jesus um, told him when he almost fell on the water. Hold on a second. Okay. Peter almost drowned that day. Can I fire at him? And he won't do anything. Okay. Um, can I do that? Okay. So when Jesus walked on the water and Peter went to him as well, and Peter almost drowned himself, Jesus saved him and said, "You who doubted, why did you doubt? Ω άπιστη γιατί δήλιασες. You who doubted, why did you doubt?" That's how I can translate it. Also, when Thomas was doubting that Jesus was resurrected, Jesus went to him and told him, "Come here." Thomas had said that if I don't put my fingers in his wounds and where his nails of the cross are, I'm not gonna believe. And Jesus told him when he went to him, "Come here and put your fingers in my wounds as you asked, because you shouldn't be doubting, but you should believe." So what Jesus did was tell him, don't doubt, be faithful, have faith. And at the same time, he granted him his wish to put his fingers in his wounds to make him aware that it was him and was not a ghost or anybody else or an imposter or a fraud. You get what I mean? And he was indeed resurrected. Wow, am I glad you came along. Toadette got herself lost again. Funny, she said the same thing about you. Did she now? Well, in any case, we'd better go find her. It won't be easy. The area ahead is very dangerous. But if you safely escort me back to Toadette, I'll make sure you get an even bigger reward this time. We are not a delivery service. We have important work to do. Fuck. Oh, of course. I just thought you might be interested in this. Look, I'm gonna... can I go... quit chapter? I wanna take a screenshot, that's why. So what Jesus did was tell him, look, I am God. Did I fuck it up? Did I fuck it up completely? I think I fucked it up completely. Anyways, let's see. Oops. So what Jesus did that day was to tell him to not be afraid, pretty much. Do not be afraid. I am here. If you doubt, if you have an unbelieving heart, pretty much, I can help you. If you have doubts, that's how we know Thomas. He's the doubting Thomas. And Peter fuck, I actually quit the entire battle for a screenshot. Oh my god. Anyways, let's go back. Okay. Anyways, I don't know how to feel about this. Um, so, this how we know him, doubting Thomas. What he did to him was prove him that he shouldn't be afraid, and if he has doubts, he's God, he's faithful to give him what he wants to know about him. You get what I mean? So, and then Peter, Peter is for me is one of the most extraordinary stories, because Peter uh, walked on the water. The water is the signature of Yahweh, and he got afraid and he said, Lord, save me. And my father saved him, and he said, why did you doubt? You doubting one, apiste, you unfaithful. Why did you not believe? And I'm sure this is something Muhammed Hijab would understand, because this is something found in the Quran for believing and not believing and shit. And this is how we speak and shit in the Bible as well. And my father didn't tell him go to somebody else to find your faith. He said, find your faith in me, from me. So my dad confronted Peter, and my dad confronted Thomas, and they found their faith because of my dad himself. Allah said to Muhammad, and Muhammad is supposed to be something like my equal in terms. I'm not saying I am like Muhammad. I'm a very different person, and I work for a very different deity. I would compare myself with Muhammad if I was still working for Zeus, but I'm not. So I'm not gonna do that. My father says again, if you have any questions about what she says, contact me, don't contact her. Okay, thank you, Dad. So what I'm saying is that Muhammad is supposed to be in favor of a divine being, and so am I, because I'm a prophet as well. But I work for Yahweh, and he was working for Allah, and I'm telling you that Allah is actually Zeus. My father, when I have doubts, for example, with my ex, he tells me stuff about himself that can confirm to me that it is him talking to me and not somebody else deceiving me if I am in doubt. Because you are human. I've seen many Christians say, why was Muhammad in doubt? That means he was not a genuine prophet. Guys, if you say this bullshit, you don't know your shit, you don't know your Bible. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, honestly, but tell me you don't know the Bible by telling me you don't know the Bible. Elijah almost committed suicide because he was in such a bad situation. He was chased by Jezebel. Um, what else? Jeremiah also was cursing himself. He wanted to die. We also have Job. He also wanted to die, and you get what I mean. Like, there are many people who doubted and fought their demons in the Bible. It's not only Muhammad, and no, just because Muhammad doubted, that doesn't mean anything wrong about him. You're reading it completely wrong, you Christians, you say that. And yeah, even prophets can have doubts, because it's a very lonely way, the one that a prophet has to do, and I know this personally. But when I have my doubts with my ex, for example, my dad usually gives me a story that only he could know that I enjoy. Maybe a Disney story or something that it is important to me, or a code that I can only read myself and nobody else, so I can know it is him. He can also tell me something about himself. For example, the other day I was crying and he gave me Mana Vavau. That's a song by Moana, and in this song Moana gets back to life after she is dead, and she becomes a demigod, and that's a promise he had given me, that I won't die. So he could make sure that it is him talking to me. And yeah, there was a discussion going on with my dad that I ate from the tree of knowledge and I didn't know it was that what I did, so I don't have the original sin of that kind, pretty much. Not the original sin, like, I don't believe in the original sin in the sense of, I don't mean that, like, we people don't have a sin from Adam and Eve. That's very pagan. I mean that I didn't do what they did. That's what I mean. That makes sense. That's all I mean. I haven't done that. I didn't eat to disobey him, and that's why he says you cannot die. Okay. um, I'm gonna put that as a thumbnail. Oops. Okay, so oh no, of course, I just thought you might be interested in this. Couldn't figure out how to get it out of here. I'm not so good with puzzles, I'm afraid. But maybe you'll have more luck or even carry it back for you. Deal? An ally is in our fight against Bowser Jr. Mr. Toad, you have yourself a deal. But he's very aggressive and I don't like that with him. So what I say is that just slide it down and take it from here. Okay. I don't like how what I mean with the verse with Muhammad. If Muhammad has doubts, then he has to ask a Christian or a Jewish. You say that that's a condition in such instances. I understand you might interpret this as a sign by Allah to, like, there are other people who also believe in me. At the tower's feet you found a new soundtrack, check it out at the museum. But what actually Zeus there says is that, uh, and how are you supposed to do that? Okay, I suppose I have to. Hmm. Okay, I think I know what to do. So what Zeus tells him there is that he is working from afar. Ekati, that's a name that we know from Sarah. Ekati, working from afar. He doesn't say, I will solve your doubts. For example, Yahweh tells Jeremiah, I am here for you to set you free. Don't be afraid if I will put you in a warring situation. I am here to set you free from your enemies. So he's given the reassurance that everything is gonna be okay because he's working with Yahweh. And I don't know what the fuck to do. Muhammad just doesn't have this guarantee, and that's unfortunate for Muhammad because he's working for Zeus, and Zeus is like, I'm not gonna give a shit about you, and I know how this feels. That's a very horrible feeling, and that's why I make these videos to explain how this fucking deity is working and why I don't like him at all. That doesn't make any sense. Hopefully now this aligns the cube. Hopefully. Because you say that it was a conditional, yeah, maybe. But at the same time, I couldn't go there because that was not for this. It was for something else, you get what I mean? Probably we will have to come here later, I suppose. Can I go to Peach's castle? Or maybe quit entirely, close it. So that's what I'm saying, that if Muhammad doesn't have a guarantee from Allah. Allah is like, if you doubt, go to somebody else. He doesn't say, I will help you myself. You get what I mean? That's why I don't like this deity. That's why I left Zeus. That's why I expose him, and hopefully it will help other people too with their spirituality. I have here my milk chocolate, by the way. I wanna work again with the cube. Hopefully they will give it to me.
This is a conditional. A conditional if you are in.
And Mr. Hijab, whatever your name is, if this is your correct name, when you have conditional stuff from God, that means that your God is no longer a God, he's actually a creature, because God is, if God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and so on, and eternal, he shouldn't give a conditional shit. He should give unconditional shit. Do you get what I mean? Hopefully this explains a little bit. He doesn't give any Allah is only working in conditions, like if you do this then I will give you that, if you do this then you will be rewarded, if this then that. He never gives anything unconditionally. Does that make any sense?
Out. So what Sa'id ibn Jubayr mentions, one of the Salaf, the early people, and as mentioned in Tabari's tafsir, ما شك وما سأل. He didn't doubt and he didn't ask. Do you see? If you're in doubt, go and ask. But he wasn't in doubt, so he did not ask. So it's irrelevant. There is no direct command in the Quran that tells the Prophet without condition to go to the Jews and Christians and seek ultimate authority for them in such a manner that would render the Quran itself as a secondary authority. In fact, all of the evidence shows the opposite, and I think that this argument has now failed. It's a weak argument. No one.
I am doing this for the third time. I can't believe my fate. Fuck my life.
Accepts it. No one's convinced of it. It's shallow apologetics. It's weak. It's superficial. It is a low brow. It is a superficial. It is a unworthy interrogation of Islam, and as such we don't really have to say much more. This interrogation has failed.
That's true.
Game over.
That's game over, yeah.
It's game over.
So let's tune into something even more important than addressing this baseless claim, and
Yes.
that's brothers and sisters. For a long time now, we have been raising funds to establish a one-of-its-kind mega masjid and dawah center in Norway. And alhamdulillah, thanks to you.
I don't know what the Christians said about what you said. Like you said, it's a baseless claim. I don't know what they said, but I can tell you why what you say is wrong. Not because what you say makes perfect sense. Don't get me wrong. I will explain what I mean. What you say makes perfect sense, but the problem with it is not that it's what you say is pretty much stupid. It's not. It actually makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in a deity spectrum, because if Allah is a deity and if Muhammad is his prophet, he shouldn't tell his prophet to find guidance from another person. That leads pretty much to what Christians do. They ask for counseling. That's why I say I don't always agree with what Christians say. From other humans. It's what my ex said, this is what you do, for example. You want verification from other people. That's what he says. That's why maybe he also has a PhD, I don't know, maybe he's indoctrinated to be like that. If you have doubts, back yourself up with other people. That leaves you paralyzed from your back to your legs. You are paralyzed. You can't do anything by yourself. You can't sustain yourself on your own. all by yourself. What did my dad sing the other day? All by myself. I don't need anyone at all. I know I can survive. I know I can stay alive all on my own. I don't need anyone this time. It will be mine. Nobody can take it from me. You'll see. And then he was saying, I have the truth on my side. You only have deceit. You'll see somehow, someday. It's not about when, it's about you. That will happen. That's what the song by Madonna says. That's why my dad is singing this song, because it says that maybe you doubt me today, but you will see that I have truth on my side. You are the one that is deceived here, not me. And what the song says, it says all by myself. It says rely on your strength that you can do this. It's not about being alone like you are a wolf. It's not about that at all. It just says that if you are afraid that you can't do this and you have to rely on somebody else, it says you think I can't live without your love. You see, you think I can't go on another day. You think after all you've done, I'll never find my way back home. So Madonna says there that what she experienced with this guy is that the guy is so manipulative. He thinks honestly that she can't be a person on her own just because she doesn't have him anymore. Can you see what I mean? So it's all about believing in yourself, that like even if somebody doubts you, you can still do it yourself. You get what I mean? So that's why I say what Allah instructs Muhammad is actually very wrong, because he tells Muhammad pretty much, yes, you are a prophet, but if you ever doubt you are a prophet, go and seek guidance from another person. But the other person is not a prophet. Muhammad is a prophet. So why should Muhammad go to another person if he is a prophet? That means that Allah is instructing a person whom he has called and should be in direct contact with him all the time, like my dad is with me, to seek guidance by another person, a reference scholar like you was saying to me, that you can't do anything on your own. You don't have a voice that it is powerful enough. You have to rely on somebody else. You get what I mean? So that's why the song is very important. That's why my dad is singing this song to me, because it says, yeah, all by myself. I don't need anyone at all. That's not, yes, it sounds like individualistic, but it's actually very biblical. Individualism is something found in the Bible. You have to rely on your own strength when you are a prophet, because not because you are arrogant. That's not about arrogance. It's because when you are a prophet, sometimes you have to face a desert like Elijah, pretty much. You have to can I go there? Sometimes you are like Elijah, you are alone. Sometimes you are like Jeremiah, you are alone, and you have to rely on you and God. And there are these moments that you are the most terrified, and I have been there. This is where I am at the moment. The majority of the times I don't know if my ex is the one liking my posts, you know. It's very crazy when you have heard my dad saying your ex is the person behind the likes, and you don't see anything apart from a like, and your ex hasn't texted you, and you know people might call you crazy, but that's where your trust with God is the most perfect, because you are alone with him like Elijah in the mountain, and you said to him, I want to commit suicide because Jezebel killed all your prophets. I'm the only one, and she seeks to take my life too. And then you hear my God still, my God's still small voice in the wind. That's why I say what he told Muhammad is very wrong there, because he tells him to rely on his strength and not to him, and that's very, very, very wrong, very, very wrong. And I sympathize with Muhammad, because being a prophet is a very strong job. It's very difficult. It's very challenging. You are facing your demons every single day. I've seen people saying Muhammad didn't do it properly. I'm not gonna judge the prophethood of Muhammad because he works for another deity that I'm not working with at the moment. But all I'm gonna say about him is that he worked with a deity that's very, very aggressive, and he picked him, and he was telling him, if you ever doubt, I will do this and that. Why don't you believe? And then again, after he was saying these verses like, I will do this and that, why don't you believe? When will you believe? When the Quranic God speaks like that all the time. Then he says to Muhammad, who should be his best friend, but he's more like a servant, not a friend to Muhammad, and that's why I feel sorry about Muhammad. He tells him, if you ever doubt, just ask somebody else. He doesn't say, come here, I'll give you rest. Come here, unfaithful one, and have faith. Or put your hands on my wounds and have faith in you. He doesn't say that. He only says, go to another person. So that's why I say, yes, what you say makes sense, like linguistically, logically speaking, but in terms of deity, it's not, doesn't really make sense. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, Sarah made a video. What is the video she made? I was actually surprised by this. Magic Spells Oracle by Jurika Ills. Okay, so she started a new tarot. Okay. Helga, can you read the tarot? Yes, I can read the tarot, but not to tell the future to somebody. I'm not a psychic like that. I can explain why the tarot is actually false and you shouldn't do that, and why it is divination and why it leads to wrong future telling. The correct future, when you say it, is when God gives you a direct oracle, not when you read a random card, which is an object, and you decide by your own head what your future might be, because that's divination. Yes, it might happen, yes, it might not happen, but that doesn't mean it is a prophecy. It's just your guessing. It's lottery pretty much. Okay, let's finish with the video though.
Thanks to your generous donations, we have purchased this huge building that we are in right. Being proud.
Not just that, but has to defend themselves. You've got now martial arts classes, you've got football classes.
Okay, we saw that.
What are you waiting for? Let's be honest. What are you waiting for? You've got them. Allah's blessed you. And it's not just here. Look, we are launching intellectual missiles all over the world.
Let's see what he says, by the way.
All over the world. This stuff is being translated into multiple languages, into Urdu, into Arabic, into this, into that. It's going everywhere. Yeah. This is reaching millions of people.
That's true.
Oh my God, and these people know, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that, the one who guides to the truth is like the one who does the truth. The one who shows where the good deeds are is like the one who does the good deeds. So, what are you waiting for? Let's be honest, what are you waiting for? You've got them, Allah has blessed you. This is a test. Allah has given you a test. Give me a certain money, see what you're going to do with this test. It's a test. Now, are you going to give to causes which you know are going to help our generations? Or are you going to, sorry to say, just pretend you're not hearing what I'm saying right now? Just put me in fact, no. but we have a good opinion of you, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
That's true.
That's
true. We wouldn't be recording these videos. This Ramadan series and so many other series and programs.
Look, can you hear? They are just saying that they want money donations to do what they are doing, like they are trying to spread the truth as they see it. Maybe I disagree. Maybe I think they are misled by the devil. And I'm not saying this aggressively. You heard all my video. I said exactly what I mean. I mean that this deity, Zeus, the devil, manifested and he is tricking them, but I didn't say they will go to hell. My father hasn't created the hell. You're not gonna hear me speaking about a hell ever. And he he sees the intentions of your heart even if you are deceived and misled, and these guys are trying their best to please my father, even if they don't know how to spell his name properly, even if they call him Allah and his name is actually Jesus. You get what I mean? So more power to them. I don't understand why they hate them this much, and if they speak aggressively and if they speak harshly back, maybe that's because they are like treated badly by the, I don't know how to do it. Maybe they are not treated goodly by the, the the people that critique them, the Christians and the atheists. I don't know about that. Basically speaking, now that I saw all this, I just wanted to find a video of Muhammed Hijab being interviewed by. Before I go to the funny video, let's close with the funny video today. Find the video where David Wood, an apostate prophet, speak with Muhammad Hijab, and just say my opinion before I go to the other one. That's what I mean. Because I don't have a bad opinion about it. Let's finish this, by the way.
They won't do that. They're doing it already.
Yeah,
One of them scrolling,
mashallah.
the other one scrolling.
So
Click the link below, guys.
click the link and take part in this tremendous rewards that will inshallah be added to your scale of good deeds. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You can't say that they are searching for money, because they are putting effort in what they are doing as well. They are doing this because they think they are guiding people to the truth, and yes, it is part of how you see the world with Zeus, this deity. If you add good point deeds, let's put in like points, like you are in Gryffindor and Slytherin in Hogwarts, if you do this for God, you are like having divine favor at the end of the day. And they don't do it to suppress the masses. This is how they honestly see it, and it's heartbreaking for me to see people saying they are just trying to take your money. Yeah, even if they want to, why are you so cunning to speak like that and you address it like that, like money is more important to you like a person. He's not just trying to take your money. Like, you care about your money more about the other person. That's what I see. And no, I don't see anything bad with what they are doing. I see people who care, and I don't say that they are perfect. I don't think they are perfect, but I know how it is to believe in this deity and like think you are doing your best you can, and they are doing it for my dad, even if they don't know who my dad is, and I'm sure my father is taking this into consideration, and he appreciates the gesture even if it is not exactly what he asked them to do. He appreciates when somebody is bringing him exercises, even if the exercises are not exactly what he taught in the class, and somebody gave wrong exercises over the phone because you were sick and you didn't attend the class. That makes sense. Wow, you guys did it. Guess I've gotta keep my end of bargain, huh? I'll carry your friend here for you while you help me reunite with Toa Dead. Are you sure you can carry it by yourself? Of course, I work out. Plus, my head is very well insulated. I don't even feel chilly. Well then, I suggest we waste no time in reuniting you with your less directionally impaired body. For the sooner we do, the sooner our eyes censored ally and ensconced ally, I don't even read, um, ally can join us in the fight against Bowser Jr. and ensconced. What does this mean? To settle or place something or someone firmly and comfortably, or to hide or conceal something securely. Okay. And insulated, right? Μονομένο από μονομένο. Okay. So we finish this, right? Yeah, we finish this video. So let's see if we have anything from. Oops, let's take this off. That was my charger. Let's fix the camera. So David Wood apostate prophet and Muhammad Hijab. Not like that. If they have him on. Okay, they have very big parts in the debate. Don't know if they have anything smaller. Okay, Helga, what are you doing? I'm searching. I'm searching. Um, Hold on a second. I'm just trying to find something. Okay, so they haven't debated. He hasn't debated the apostate prophet. He has debated David Wood, I think. I can do this. I can do this. Or maybe I should copilot if it has anything small, because I can see very big videos and I don't wanna do that. Not like, when I say big videos, I mean 2 hours long, and I was looking for something smaller because I have more content to do. And Copilot, do you have any videos of David Wood um, debating Muhammed Hijab? Yes, Helga, there are powerful and widely viewed debates. Okay. Um, 4 hour debate. Um, do you have a small video? A small video, like 10 minutes, something like that, please. Okay. Do you have? Okay. Christianity and David Wood career debunked with one simple video, zeros in one single question that critics say this traumatized. Okay. Okay. I have no idea. He doesn't give me exactly. Um, he doesn't give me exactly what I asked for. It gives me only full debate. Um, I can put the full debate, I suppose, because I'm not looking for what I asked for. Um, I don't know if it has any key moment, something like that. Okay, let's see this one. It's why he was completely. Okay, Muhammad Hijab's career-ending debate versus David Wood. Why he was completely destroyed instead. So I I will see key moments here. I'm not gonna do all of it, I suppose, because I found another video that you get what I mean, like more enjoyable. I don't know. Let's see. Let's start. Let's start and let's see what we have here.
Attacking Islam. 99% what's going on here. 20 years of attacking Islam. 99% of your content is anti-Islam. And all of those things you brought today were dismissed in 4 minutes. You couldn't handle the questioning. I gave you 4 questions. I did the service of answering all of your questions. You didn't even answer one of mine.
All right, well, I guess we'll start off with the 4 questions. Question number 1, why isn't the Trinity mentioned in the Old Testament? Quoted Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 16, where Yahweh is speaking, and Yahweh says that he has been sent by Yahweh along with the Spirit of Yahweh. But even the go-to passage, the Shema, it proves this pure monotheism. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. We insert extra words in there to make that a complete sentence. What that actually says, hear, O Israel, Yahweh, it's the name of God, Eloheinu means our God, Yahweh means as God, one. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh.
Protect Todd. He's unarmed, so he can't attack only move. It's up to you to make sure Todd reaches the other side of the battlefield safe and sound. Enemies will keep spawning. If Todd takes too much damage, you lose. As I can see, as I expected it, the Christian makes a fool of himself like usually. That's completely expected. I'm not even surprised at this point. I'm always like disappointed by Christians because the Trinity is not even mentioned in the New Testament. It's not only mentioned, like we discuss here, if it is mentioned in the oopsie. We discuss if it is mentioned in the Old Testament. No, it is not explicitly mentioned in the Old Testament. I agree fully with that, and not even in the New Testament it is explicitly mentioned. That shouldn't be the problem, though. I've seen many people saying it's not explicitly mentioned here, this and that. I've seen people claiming that this sin and that sin are mentioned in the Bible when it's not mentioned in the Bible. For example, they say masturbation is a sin. If it was a sin, it would be part of the Mosaic law, but it's not. So that disproves the argument that it is a sin, because if you assume that it is when it's not written in the written law of my dad, that means you are worshipping the unwritten law of Zeus, because you are assuming something is a law when you don't have valid proof that it is actually a law. You get what I mean? So what I'm saying here is that what I'm saying here is that the way that the Christian handles the Muslim, because the Muslim actually makes a question and he said, I answer your question, you don't answer my questions. The question is, no, it's not explicitly mentioned, you are correct, but that doesn't mean that the discussion ends there. I can tell you that many deities have triune nature in the world. Yes, it sounds pagan, but it is even further than that. That's why I wrote my dissertation, to prove to everybody that there is a deity out there pretending to be my dad. Just because a deity or from the pagan world has attributes that look like my dad that doesn't mean that my dad is a pagan deity. Maybe that means that the pagan deity is copying my dad. Does that make any sense? That's what I mean. Because this stretches even more. For example, people say in Christianity that God speaks about an original sin, and that if you don't believe in Jesus you will go to hell. That's pagan doctrine. It's not explicitly found in the Bible either. The Trinity, yes, God, Son, Holy Spirit, yeah, it's a truth. In Greece we call it mysterion. You have to know it by your relationship with God. It's not written down like I am this and that. It's not how my father is speaking. That's why it's not written like that. My father is pretty much he doesn't do much noise. That's how I will say it. He's not like the person who will say I am God, and I am this and that, worship me like this and that. I know many people think that because he says I am God, don't take other deities. He only says that to explain why you shouldn't take other deities. He doesn't say it because he thinks he's the best thing ever. He's not arrogant. I'm not saying he's not the best person. I'm saying that he's not arrogant. He's not gloating. When he looks like he's gloating and he says, I'm not like other deities, he's just explaining a truth so you understand why he says what he says. For example, he doesn't say to you, don't talk with the demons because he's a bad person. He tells you, don't listen to the other deities because they are lying. And I am God, aka I'm not lying. I am your father. They are not your father. They claim to be, but they are not. So that's him being protective. He couldn't care less if you believe he's a deity or not. He doesn't need your validation. He's a deity. He just does that to protect you. That's what I mean. Okay. Where's Todd? I'm gonna take him here. So there are many things that we can say that prove that many stuff that Yahweh has said are being told by pagan deities, and what pagan deities have said are copies from what my dad has said. Like, it works both ways. Like, my dad says something, a pagan deity copies it. A pagan deity says something, that's because my dad said it first. That's how it works. And I'm saying this to pretty much explain why this confusion arises. You expect my dad to come to you and say, for example, I hear Muslims saying, Jesus never said I am God. He has said before Abraham, I am. He has made many I am affirmations. He has cured people. He showed that he's God. He has showed, and if you read the Gospel of John, because I read the Gospel of John, I believe that Jesus was a human person as well. I read the Gospel of John and I realized that he's a deity, that he's Yahweh in the flesh, like he's the person of the Old Testament that became man, pretty much. I understood that when I read the Gospel of John. If you read the Gospel of John, you will see that that even though it shows my father's deity attributes, still my dad refuses to speak like a deity. He's very different from other deities. Dionysus wouldn't treat people like that if he was in my father's position, because in the Bacchae, Dionysus is very aggressive, he's very critical, he's very arrogant, and that is not some attributes. This is not some attributes that my dad is exhibiting, okay? So the argument is fully out of place to begin with, not with Muhammed Hijab. Muhammed Hijab is very accurate to ask the question because he doesn't believe in Jesus. It's up to David Wood to answer like a normal person, and David Wood is more like interested to make a Muhammad Hijab appear foolish, to make a Muhammad Hijab appear less intelligent and intellectual. That's why I hate intellectuality. I'm giving you a clue here. Because it's all about arrogance, and I'm not an arrogant person. I believe everybody's an equal, and that doesn't. You don't prove your equality with how clever you are. I don't agree with that. Where am I going now? Should I go? Hold on a second. Okay, so should I do that again and go from where I went? Probably. Yep. yeah, he's more interested in hoppers. You found a new soundtrack, check it out at the museum. Okay. He's more interested to prove Muhammad Hijab to be stupid than to make him understand how the Bible works. My father doesn't work with intellectuality, he doesn't work with cleverness and high IQ and all that jazz. He works with believing like a child would, believing like a kid would. And um, David Wood is just not interested in that. He's just interested to make his co-speaker appear foolish, and that's why I have my issues with his approaches. And he started saying in Isaiah is this and that. If I was speaking with Muhammad Hijab, I would say to him exactly what I said, that you take it all wrong. Just because it's not mentioned, that doesn't mean it should be. That's not how my dad operates. You know something because you have a relationship with him, something you can't do in the Quran, because the Quranic God expects you to know him only by reading a book, like you are a scholar. That creates arrogance in you. That creates. I lost. I lost. That creates arrogance. It creates. How can I do that? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I will win this level and I will speak again. Oh my god, made a mistake. Okay. Yep, I did it. So, brute. Enemies get the brute when you bring out the brute. Okay. So, as I was saying, if I was with Muhammad Hijab, I would tell him that I understand what you say, but that's how Christians speak. Christians have borrowed stuff from pagans. My father is not talking like that. My father wants you to have a proper relationship with him. The intellectual dialogue is something that Zeus promotes. Chaos like that is something that Zeus likes. You are dressed academically, and so does David Wood, and you are doing swords the one with the other, but you are doing that like harming each other, wounding each other. I'm not saying that to bash Muhammad Hijab because he's not a Christian. I have a problem with David Wood because he's a Christian and he's more interested into bashing the Muslim whom he says he's ignorant. So if he's an ignorant, if he's blind, David Wood, you have to tell him the truth. You have to open his eyes. My father, when he made the person who was blind not be blind anymore, and cured them from the blindness, he wasn't attacking them, he was healing them. You are attacking blind people. do you understand how sinful what you are doing for my dad is? You are gonna have a huge punishment when you see my dad in the judgment day. I'm just telling you, like, my father is gonna be very pissed with what you are doing, because he will say, I gave you revelation and you took the rod of the bad shepherd and you hit the flock. Because I was away, because I was late, you treated my lateness as a sign that you should rule like a tyrant on them. And I shame you for that, because the way you speak is disgusting. And I very much understand your pain. I am very sorry for your loss for your child. You shouldn't go through this. I am very sympathetic. You have all my prayers about that. But that doesn't change the fact that you are a Persis. And that's why I made my character Persis. He is this strong guy with the iron brow and the like and the chest made by gold and the face made of iron and like copper and all these strong materials with a heart of stone. But when it comes to his personal affairs, he has a very soft side. He has a child, he's a good dad, he has a family, he has a wife, he exhibits fatherly traits, and you are conflicted. You don't know how to deal with this guy, because he's a monster through and through, but at the same time he is like a very good dad, and you don't know what to do with him, and you have conflicted emotions about him. And that's how I feel about you. That I feel that you are a monster because you treat unbelievers like that. You think he doesn't believe in Jesus. You have problems with his beliefs, and you treat him like rubbish. And you do that at the same time you think that he has a wrong deity. You treat him like he is nothing, and all you care is how to appear clever and intellectual in front of a large crowd and win the argument. You don't care about my dad, and you don't care about his soul, and shame on you about that. All your degrees, all your PhDs, all your knowledge will be nothing when you will deal my dad and the judgment day. He's not gonna throw you in any hell, but he's gonna be very pissed with you, and he's gonna punish you for what you have done, because that's a crime, that's a huge sin you have done there. And you are doing it, you continue doing it, and despite all the things that have happened in your life, and I'm not saying that he did them to punish you, I'm not saying that, but when stuff happen in our lives, we become softer as people. You haven't become softer, you are still the same Pharaoh as you were, and that's disgusting to say the least. And I am ashamed on your behalf for what you are doing, because you are a Christian and I am also, and I don't want to be associated with anything of what you are doing. That's what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna take a small break because I'm playing for 1 hour and a half. I will come back about in 5 to 10 minutes. I will find another part of David Wood's videos before I go to the funny part of the video, because I said this is gonna be a very much reaction video, funny video. I spoke seriously for far too long for my character. So I'm gonna continue now the game with something from David Wood, and yeah, I'm gonna have a break then, and then come back with the funny part. I don't know if I said it in the correct order. Like, I'm gonna find the video now, and then I'm gonna have, after the break, I'm gonna have like the comedy part, because enemy turn. Yeah, so I will take a small break, and then we will have the fun part, have some good time. Okay, my phone wanted to update everything. Okay, no problem. So can I find, yeah, let's put the same video. I just want you to say if you are here. I know you are here, bestie. I know you are here. I just want you to listen a little bit how he talks. Is this how you wanna be? I will put it here. I'm not gonna speak. I want to hear him. I want you to hear him, and I want you to answer yourself seriously. Do you want to be like this person? Because if you want to, I don't know how to deal with it. Because this is how your teacher Chu sounds like. This is how Andrew sounds like. This is how David Wood sounds like. This is how Persis sounds like. And I don't know how to deal with it if you want to be heard like that. Just listen to him.
Yahweh Echad. We insert extra words in there to make that a complete sentence. What that actually says, hear, O Israel, Yahweh, it's the name of God, Eloheinu means our God, Yahweh means as God, one. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, one. Names God 3 times and then says one. This is a Jewish commentary on the Torah. They're commenting and they say, hear, O Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh is one. These 3 are one. How can the 3 names be one? In the go-to passage for Muslims around the world to say this refutes the doctrine of the Trinity, if that's your best, you're going to need something better. Why doesn't the Old Testament clearly define the doctrine of the Trinity? Well, in the Old Testament as well, Jeremiah chapter 31, a new covenant is coming. It's prophesied in the future. The big covenant is coming. Well, don't you think God's got some more information in store for the people of the new covenant? I do. And who brings the new covenant? Well, Jesus. It's Jesus entering the world and then the Holy Spirit being poured out where we find out about the inner life of God. And this is correlated with God's plan of salvation. So, why isn't it clearly mentioned? Well, that's how God works. Progressive revelation. He does this throughout the Bible. He keeps giving.
He's so quick to say Elohenu, Elohan, ha ha ha, all that Hebrew. I'm not judging the language. I speak the language as well. I really like it. I'm just saying what I hear as a Greek is bar, bar, bar. I don't hear anything coherent. I hear a barbarian speaking his barbaric language because it's not even his language. Hebrew is not his native language. So if you are an Israeli hearing me, I'm feeling sorry for having this crap head abusing your language like that, because I really love your language. I have invested many hours of my life trying to learn how to speak it and understand basic of it, because I wanted to speak with my dad in his originally chosen language and use my knowledge because he's speaking to me in Hebrew. Hello, I am a prophet. He's speaking to me in Hebrew. But I also wanted to use my... Can I go... Where am I going? I'm going down there. I'm going there, right? I'm going... What the fuck? Where am I going? Ah, okay. So I'm going... I will go... So this is the faster route. Okay, I will go directly on ahead. Okay, so here. So we have to take Toad and take him there in the golden area to finish the level. So that's the enemy turn. We have to protect him from enemies. So I put much of my effort to learn the language, and I did it to be able to understand my dad as well. I'm not speaking that well. I can order a pizza. That's the best I can do. But I can understand many verses. My father speaks to me in Hebrew very frequently, and I understand him either with my spirit that he says this and that. I can't explain, like he speaks to me in Hebrew and I understand what he talks about. Like he said this and that, and I understand what he says because of that. Like I am used to his speech, like a bilingual pretty much. And sometimes he says something and he explains this in Hebrew means this. He had explained to me that Jeremiah was captivated like a bride with him, and that is the verb pata. So he had said here, right in the dissertation, that it says pata, because he is captivated. I didn't deceive him. I'm not a deceiver. He just loved me very much, and he wanted to do something with me and save people from the demons. That's all he says there. He doesn't say that he's forced to become a prophet or he's deceived by me like I am the devil. and he's doing that very frequently with me. He has taught me many stuff like that. Um, as crazy as it sounds, but yeah, that's what I was saying before with Muhammad, that it, it should be a personal relationship with God, and where more Allah should be speaking to him like that, and he didn't, and that's why I said I am upset about Muhammad. But my dad doesn't speak incoherently like David Wood does, speaking in Hebrew and saying stuff I don't even understand myself. Like I understood what he said. Like I know what Elohim means. It's a plural word. It means gods. I know the name of my father means existence. I know many words in Hebrew. As I said, I can order a pizza, but I would never use my knowledge in Hebrew like that. When I started learning how to say water and milk and I love you and welcome and can I go in the hotel in where is my taxi in Hebrew through Duolingo, I didn't exactly have in my head how to bash a Muslim on the internet for many people to think that I am clever. What I did was try to make my dissertation more entertaining, because I would know how to speak another language that is included in my belief system. I tried to I guess when I did that I was 20. I wanted to impress my dad because I was a prophet. I wanted to impress him that I know his language. And then he said, like, you know, Helga, I also wrote the Bible in Greek and I don't have a language, I'm a deity. You don't see it very properly. So yeah, I was just trying to impress him, and yeah, that's part of my relationship with him. But I never thought of using my knowledge to make somebody look stupid and less knowledgeable. I never did that. I did because I love languages. Later, my father asked me, because I used the app of Duolingo to learn how to speak Hebrew, to learn to speak Chinese for my ex, because he said marry your ex and learn Chinese. I used the same app to learn Chinese for my ex. My father used himself to, like as a deity, he started talking to me in Chinese. Yes, he has done that. He has taught me stuff about the culture that I didn't know. For example, that women in China don't take the man's surname, and that's actually weird for Chinese. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my god, seriously. And he said you have to keep your father's name for his legacy, and he said they will be bamboozled that you would ditch your father's name for his name. And I said, but this is how we do it in Europe. This is the normal thing. You have to ditch your name for your husband. And we were speaking in Chinese with my dad in Mandarin in my sleep. I saw my husband, like my ex, he was drowning in a sea, and my father started speaking to me in Chinese, and he was saying that he is drowned. Obviously, I can't duplicate that because it was in spirit. It's not that I know how to speak the language. It was a dream that my father was present. He was speaking in Chinese. I could understand him in my spirit. This is Chinese, and he was giving me what to answer. It wasn't like it was not forced, but it was not something I knew how to do. He helped me with his spirit to speak in that language, and I could understand what I was saying, but it's not that I know how to speak the language. No, I don't. He was just talking to me in my sleep about my ex, and he was saying that he is upset, he is depressed, he is like drowning in the sea, that he loves me very much and he would like to reconnect with me. That's what he was telling me in Chinese. But as I said, I can't, like, if you give me to read Chinese in what I said, that doesn't mean that I will understand what I will be reading, or I will remember what I was saying back then. It would be just unintelligible to me, because that was done in spirit. It wasn't done in the intellectual property of my brain. I don't know how to explain it. That's why I say my dad is not about intellectuality, he's about your heart. And if I wasn't cooperative as a person, he wouldn't be able to do that with me. That's what I say. So yeah. What David Wood does is very, 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 very disgusting for me. He's abusing the language of the Hebrews, and you hear him only saying var, var, var. Like, to me, that's all I hear, because he can't speak the language. He just knows some words. I would never do that. I did the same for entertaining purposes, but for my dissertation, so that I, like, make my prose more efficient. But I have to be truthful. Yes, I learned that for my work, definitely, but I haven't ever admitted that out in public. I was actually just trying to impress my dad that I know how to speak his original language. When I was like, I will take Duolingo Hebrew language. I just wanted him to see, like, like that, I am a prophet, but I'm also trying to be one. I'm not just sitting here and waiting you to do all the good job and I do nothing. You get what I mean? So yeah. Let's hear some more until I close the footage, because I'm gonna like finish the gameplay. I don't know. Fucking advertisement.
Loaded.
And I have to charge my camera.
God works. Progressive revelation. He does this throughout the Bible. He keeps giving them more and more information. Muhammed Hijab says, well, why didn't the church fathers from the 2nd, 3rd century and so on give 4th century descriptions of the doctrine of the Trinity? In the 1st century, the books of the Bible are passed out and they're individual books. There's not a collection yet. By the 2nd century, they start getting collected. And for the first 3 centuries, Christianity is an illegal religion and persecuted. They can't get together for big conferences to do stuff and to have discussions like this. The first time they're able to get together and have these big councils is in the 4th century, and that's what they do. They have revelations about the Father, about the Son, about the Spirit.
What he says is completely false. That's nothing. We didn't do that like that. They had collections later. They started compiling, and then they couldn't have a council, and we were persecuted. Nothing like that. He's ignorant about my culture, and they start having revelations. What he says is absolutely bullshit. Don't even believe what he says. And I understand perfectly Muhammed Hijab when he says you Christians don't know your shit. Yes, I agree. If he ever listens to me, you are hearing bullshit from the Christians. What he says about the councils to you in that debate and the revelations is all not only unbiblical, it's not even stated in the Bible, it's also out of my history context in my country. No, we weren't persecuted. We didn't persecute pagans. The pagans didn't persecute us. That's how my country worked. We were peacefully together. We were orally tradition driven people. We were writing down our scriptures. As I said, in the 1st century everything was written down. And what happened later was that we compiled them in a single book because we thought that would be easier for commercial, let's say, purposes. For distribution purposes it would be easier. We had our councils. We did them because we had enemies from outside of the church, heretics, like the what is now called the Catholics. They were inserting stuff that weren't present in the Bible, and we were trying in the tradition, and we were trying to protect ourselves, but we did that in peace. We weren't in a persecution. That's outside of Greece. If the Christians were persecuted, that's not about my culture, but my culture compiled the Bible. It's a Greek scripture. It happened in Greece. No, we weren't persecuted. We didn't persecute the pagans. They didn't persecute us. That's irrelevant. And he's saying crap to you. Anyways, I'm gonna finish here. I'm gonna take a break, and I will see you in a minute. I actually got my mail, and I had ordered another Labubu from China this time. I will show him to you. Does he have anything inside? What the fuck is that water? Oh no. Oh no. Is that a keychain? A keychain. It has a keychain. Okay. So, hold on a second. I will put that on. So, that's the mister here. That's the keychain that he had, and that's him. And I will put him with his new friend. I will explain to you his story as well. I'm gonna say this for my ex. So isn't this the cutest thing ever? I love them so much. So about these guys here, let's fix this here now. Look what happened. Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture like that? So what happened, what the fuck, η Ειρήνα Σάικ, αυτό το κορμί και νεκρούς ανασταίνει τυχερή ο Κριστιάνο Ρονάλντο. That's like an article by Sky.gr. It says Irina Shayk, that body can resurrect dead people, lucky Cristiano Ronaldo, and something like I don't know, like maybe him and other people, but I can't be sure what it says because it's like ellipses, so it has more to say. So that's actually also my, hold on, so that's my home screen at the moment. So I have this. I found this theme on my keyboard and I wanted to try it. So yeah, that's the Chinese doll, the Hong Kong doll, Labubu, oops, and I bought this Labubu because I took this from a Chinese person from China, and what I mean here is that it was used item, it was not original, from a retailer. That was a Chinese guy from China that bought this item and it didn't want him anymore, or it was a gift, I don't know, it was on eBay, and he was selling it to me for just £8, so that was 5 and 3, so 8 in total. So 3 was like the fees, something like that, I'm not quite sure, but it was from China. I saw that on the description that it is from, I can tell you actually where the fuck it was, but I'm not quite sure I will pronounce it properly. So it was a guy that was selling it, so it was like a person, as I say, was not a retailer. So purchases, the Labubu keychain, yeah, it was sold from Shenzhen Guangdongshang. I can't pronounce that. I will show you. That's the place that it was, the local facility, Shenzhen Guangdongsheng. I know my pronunciation is all over the place, but it was a guy that didn't want the doll. It was in a box, but it was used and it was sold as like brand new, sealed but used item, in terms that it belongs to somebody else that is selling it because he doesn't want the box and he hasn't opened the box. And yeah, the box was showed to be used as I took it. It was not like brand new like this one. This was brand new doll that I took. This one was used, and I will explain why I took it as used. The original one from China, again, Hong Kong specifically, was very expensive. It was 30. I don't have this money, obviously, but I didn't resort only for that. Actually, I had, the next day that I received this doll, I had on my feed another doll, this specific one that was like they made him a barbecue pretty much. And if you wonder what the fuck I mean, the guy that took it, it was a Chinese guy, and don't search for the video, it is on YouTube. A Chinese guy bought the doll brand new with the box that I received it, the Labubu box, this one here, I will show you. So it had this wrapping. He took this specific color because the colors are, as you can see, all these colors here, right? And the person stepped on the doll and then it set it on fire on a barbecue, like the grill, you get what I mean, outside. And it reminded me of Sid from Toy Story. And I don't know why these types of videos are on YouTube and they are not violating terms of services. I actually reported the video and it made me very upset for the doll. And I don't know, like I felt like the best I can do, because the first thing that I saw the Chinese guy doing that. I was like, barbarian, like obviously you're gonna do that, you're not an Athenian Greek, that's what I said. But then I said, what can you do, Helga, to help the doll? And I said, I can buy the exact same one and I can pretend that it is actually the doll that was destroyed. And I searched on eBay and I found this Chinese guy that was selling this one here, and it is exactly the color that was destroyed, the blue tint as it was said to be, the blue one. I would probably purchase, if I had a choice, to the pink one, or here the magenta, or like here this one. But I didn't do it because I felt upset for this doll, and I felt like if I give love to a color that I prefer, the energy that I give in the universe is wrong. It's very egoistically given. It's how I want the doll to be, not how it was abused, how it was originally. And that wouldn't matter if I did it. And that's why I decided to put my ego back and not take the color that I would like, but the color that it was initially, and that would be like the correct way to do this. So I decided to buy this one, the used, and I said that would be very good energy for the universe, because the one that was destroyed, was neglected, is quite similar in energy field with the one that the Chinese guy didn't want anymore and he was selling it for anybody, even abroad. And I said, if you take it, it's like you are taking the damaged one, so that equals. In my head it just looks like you bought the same doll, because you take a neglected toy and you give it life, right? And if it is the same color, it's just the same amount of energy, it's the same energy given back to the universe for me. And I took him today and I'm very glad that I have him. I put his keychain here and he's here with his friend, and now they are together because he was burned up by the Indian woman and this one was burned in a barbecue by the Chinese guy, and now they are together by the Athenian, who is not a barbarian. And she's gonna sleep with them because I'm sleeping with this guy currently, and I'm gonna sleep with both of them, and they're gonna be very good friends. I don't know. And yeah, actually I was gonna say, my dad was telling me when I bought them, Helga, did you see that you bought the used one? And I said, yeah. And he said, you are trying to give life to a used toy because you see the used word as abused, like neglected. You treat it like abandoned person. And he said he's proud of me, but I suppose he likes it, so I like what I did too. Like I if my dad is proud of me, I suppose I am double proud of myself for doing something like that, for like I don't know, not doing something damaging and being proud of it and uploading on YouTube and having everybody seeing it, and everybody was commenting on this guy like broken condom, like why are you wasting money people in Africa and all these types of comments I'm not making sense of. Like, nobody said I once watched a movie called Toy Story, 30 years old, and it said that guys like you are bad guys, and now that's becoming normal and that should be the case. And I didn't see any such comments on this video, and I didn't see any such comment in the Indian woman, and that really devastates me, to be fair. And I don't understand how these people work in their brain. I don't know. I suppose I feel better with myself when I say, look, I feel bad about the doll. I'm gonna do something with myself, with how I waste my energy. And if I can do this and then upload a video of me putting burgers as I speak, and speaking about this experience and saying how I think that my energy is wasted better than this one, than this guy in China, or that woman in India, or whatever she was, but she was Indian, then I have done a good deed. That's how I see it. And var, barbarians everywhere. That's what I'm gonna say with this experience. Sorry, not sorry. Athenian Greek here. Ixis affixis ούκεν το πολέμο θνίξεις. You will go, you will come, you won't die in the war. Better, even better. You will go, you won't come, you will die in the war. Signed with love, Zeus, your daddy. Anyways, let's continue. Now I said I'm not gonna do serious shit anymore with this video, but I'm gonna go back and continue with the comedy part. And guess who's back with content? Guess who's back with the content? I will show him, and you won't believe your eyes. You're not gonna believe your eyes. Yeah, bestie, you remember him? Do you remember him? Yeah, he's back. He's more powerful than ever. I'm just trying to show you the fucking thumbnail. Hold on a second. Fuck my life. Like, I keep pressing, but it just keeps opening the video instead of showing me the thumbnail. Just give me a moment. I will do it. I'm sure I will do it. I am undefeated. Okay, I think I got it. I think I fucking got it this time. Okay. So.
Like
Oopsie.
Mazar.
Fuck off.
Masoretic text describes
Okay, I got it. So, they're all using the same tricks, and it has Jesus, it has Muhammed, it has Moses, it has this guy here, it has, is this Paula White? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, I saw Kenneth Copeland as well. How prophecy scams work. Yeah, the guy, Zed, did you hear that? The guy that spoke about Noah strikes back with content, and yeah, he's gonna speak about prophecy and why prophecy is actually a scam. And fuck my life. Of course, I'm gonna like reacting to that. I actually watched the first 4 minutes of the video when I was alone, because I couldn't contain myself. I wanted to see what type of crap he's pulling again, and he's so stupid. I honestly, I want to make this disclaimer before I continue. I swear to God, I haven't seen a more stupid person ever before. And if you are like, why are you so aggressive with him? Because he says ignorant stuff. He shows that he hasn't read his shit, and he shows that he's actually lying. I have a problem with a liar. I don't have a problem with somebody who doesn't know, because ignorance doesn't prove that you are actually evil. It just proves you are ignorant. But this guy is distorting some stuff deliberately. For example, he said that the book of Daniel is a Greek text. You don't say such stuff if you are honest with yourself, because the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, is actually Hebrew. It doesn't have anything Greek in it. The New Testament is Greek. You get what I mean? The Hebrew Bible has only one or two Aramaic books, and the Greek Bible, the New Testament, has about one or two Hebrew books. The other ones are Greek, and simultaneously the other books in the Hebrew Bible that are not Aramaic are Hebrew. So if you say that type of thing, obviously you are fishing for views, you are fishing for attention, you are fishing for reaction, you are deceiving your platform members for whatever your reason is. And he has taken 206.392 views. Obviously mine is gonna be the 93rd. He has 11k likes, and he has 1.9k comments. His channel Holy Kool-Aid is 300,072k subscribers. Obviously I'm gonna react into this as a prophet and as an ex-mystic as well, because he's speaking about divination and he's mixing divination. He's speaking about Nostradamus, for example. He's mixing divination with prophecy, and he can't even differentiate both of them, when the Bible explicitly says, for example, don't go behind those who do divination. And he can see that the Bible and other books as well, even the Quran, I mean, that's what I mean when I say he's stupid. You can find that, like, written down, that there is a difference between, as I said, the alligator and the crocodile, and the snake and the legless lizard. Should I show the video again? I mean, and obviously he's deluding his audience, and that's crazy. That's crazy. If you enjoyed this video, he says, and you want to see my full playlist debunking psychics and the paranormal, check out the playlist here. Oh my god, does he have a playlist? The most brutal psychic fail. Okay, he has done a whole career actually debunking paranormal people. That's crazy. I don't know what his problem is, but he's probably the stupidest person I have ever met in my life, and I have even met him online. I don't know how I will feel if I meet him face to face. That's what I mean. So, oh my god, we have to see that. Before I continue with the video, we have to see that. Look here. That's so fucking cute. I love bats so much. I didn't mean alarm anyone, but there's a giant bat trying to break into my flat. Bat core. Hey, cutie. Oh. Oh my god, that's a baby. Oh my god, it's swimming. Oh, so cute. Oh, it's drinking water. Oh my god. I want a pet bat. Anybody? Can I have a pet bat? Oh my god, that's so cute. Look at these puppy eyes. And you're feeding it with a tube. Oh my god, it entered the room. Oh my god, I love bats so much. They are incredible creatures. They are incredible. They are so misinterpreted by the public. I love them so much. They are amazing. Anyways, let's see what crap he says, how prophecy scams work. But I am a prophet, so let's see how stupid he will go. The first 4 minutes were a pain in my ass. So let's continue.
Why is it that every single religion has
prophecies that actually came true. Yes, even religions that inherently conflict with each other. Turns out, they're all using the same psychological tricks.
So you are saying that if I say the future, it comes true because of psychology? No. Um, no. Fuck my life. What is this person talking about? No. Banzai Bill, you found a new artwork. Check it out at the museum. Not all prophecies come into fruition, let's put it that way. If they come, yes, there is a way that even the demon prophecies can come true. I can explain how this works, because obviously you need my help into this. What happens is that, okay, I did it. So that was easy. The other one was not. So, what is the difference between a prophecy by a demon and a prophecy by God? The prophecy by a demon, plaster is swirl, sweet victory is yours when you unwrap the long-lasting, flavorful mix of damage and secondary effects. Okay. I pressed wrong button and I lost my chocolate and I paused the video. Oops. Go back. Okay. Um so where I was at, I'm sure I had one more piece of chocolate, but anyways. Where's my phone? Oh. Okay. Blizzy and Sandy. Hot and cold creeps. Defeat mid bosses, okay. So I was explaining why false prophecy can sometimes come into existence, kind of. God instructs that usually when he has spoken, what he said will come to pass. Yes, this is true. When God has spoken, what he has said will come to pass, because he is God and he knows the future, and the demons don't know the future. But at the same time, he says that sometimes some things will come to pass. That is not that what the demons say. For example, the demon said you will die. That doesn't mean that it will happen. It just God just said there. My dad just said that sometimes some people might say something that can happen. For example, Sarah, the divination witch on YouTube, says I throw the tarot, and Hecate told me, Sarah, if you watch the video, by the way, I'm using you as an example, bestie. I'm not bashing you, okay? I throw the tarot, and Hecate told me that Donald Trump will win the elections. and Hecate didn't tell her anything. She just said that from her head, and the elections come, and Donald Trump indeed wins over Kamala Harris. Sarah isn't a prophet just because she said something from her head and became true, because the elections were either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, and Sarah used Hecate's name and legacy to say something herself, which became true. Yeah, with a very much big risk of not becoming true. I can discuss what can happen if something goes wrong in this scenario, but because this is not our problem here, what happens if something goes wrong. Our problem here is what if something goes right in this case scenario. Yeah, this gives you a bonus. You are a prophet. You are seen as something special. You can have cult following and stuff like that. Sarah obviously will know what I'm talking about here because she is very careful with such stuff. I'm just using her because she is doing divination, and she says all the time, take everything I say and everybody with a grain of salt. Because this guy says that if prophecies are always tricks, you can't say that, sir, because there are people that are not even part of my religion who are very respectful and careful, and they say that maybe I understood something wrong, don't listen to me like I am gospel truth, like be careful even with me. You can't say that everybody is like a liar. When you are saying somebody's like that a liar, that means something about you and how you treat the world. That means you are projecting and you are the liar here. That's what I'm gonna say. And you have lied about the book of Daniel later on in the video. You said that Daniel lied. He wrote stuff after the events happened, and that it is a Greek book, and that's a lie. So you are projecting what real divinators do and prophets have done or do, like me or like Sarah, and you say that we are liars. No, we are not. Sorry, we are not like you. Not all of us are liars. Yes, there is prophecy from demons and prophecy from God, but that doesn't mean that just because somebody speaks from the devil, that makes him a bad person. Maybe he's just deceived, That doesn't make him a bad person. So a little bit careful when you speak about others, because not only you label people who have done nothing wrong to you as tricksters, you are also exposing your shit that you are a liar, because you are projecting. We are your mirror, sir. Me and Sarah and Daniel and everybody, like Nostradamus, we are your mirror. If you call us liars, you are the liar by all probabilities, because we didn't call you a liar. You get what I mean? But let's see what bullshit he says. Oh my god, critical.
Prophets don't need psychic powers or...
Oh my god, he has given a legal disclaimer. I have to see that. I really have to see that. Okay. All clips in this videos are used for the purpose of commentary and fall under fair use. False flagging of this video is a criminal act and will result in legal action. Ooh, I'm scared. I am actually scared. The public commentary put forth in this video is merely opinion regarding the actions and or statements of public figures and is put forth under the legal privilege of fair comment. That's why I disagree with democracy, because every idiot can say whatever the fuck they wanna say and say it's just my opinion. You get what I mean? That's why I disagree, personally speaking, with democracy, but again, that's just my opinion. Even in democracy, you can say you disagree with democracy. No ill will is represented herein, nor does the creator of this video hold actual malice towards the subject of this video. If you call me a liar, I'm sorry, you are actually targeting me and Sarah and Daniel and Nostradamus and all of us. But anyways, it's to their own, I suppose.
Prophets don't need psychic powers or divine foresight to make accurate predictions.
Yeah.
There's famous prophecies in history, from the Bible to Nostradamus to modern televangelists and psychics, succeed not because of divine revelation, but because of psychological manipulation.
Yes, I agree with you that you don't need psychic powers to make a prediction. As I said, you can use your own head to do that. As I said with the example with Sarah, I used Sarah as an example for this. Yes, it is true, you don't need psychic powers for this bullshit. But, sir, you are deluded when you say Nostradamus and televangelists and Bible in the same sentence. Learn to differentiate between the alligator and the crocodile because you are 40 years old or something. It's a different thing to speak a divination prophecy from a demon or from your head using the tarot or anything, and a different thing if you speak from Yahweh. And that's not if you agree or not with the prophecy. I'm not saying if you agree or not. I say that fuck my life. I say that it is different. You are telling us in our faces that an alligator and a snake are the same thing, and it just shows you are ignorant and stupid. So learn a little bit first and then open the camera and make a video debunking something that it is not connected with another. Nostradamus is not Daniel. I'm not the same thing as Nostradamus, and I think I want to start again with this. I think I want to start again the battle. Nostradamus is not the same thing as Sarah. Sarah is not the same thing as me, and with each other are not the same with each other. We are not using the same methodology. We are not using the same approach towards the divine. We are not even contacting the same deity. As you said, some of us talk with the spirit, and some others don't. Some people speak alone and say somebody told them, but nobody told them anything. They are just speaking on their own. Some others are speaking with demons in reality, and they are forwarding speeches from spirits. And there are some others that are speaking with the living God. So you can't put all of them in the same box and say it's the same thing, because it's not. And if you can't learn your bullshit, stop talking. You can't open the camera and say all of these things are the same. You are seriously saying that vegetables are the same thing as rice. No, they are not. Just because they mix well together in a plate and you can eat them together like a proper plate for dinner, that doesn't mean they are the same thing. Grow up. That's all I'm gonna say. Fuck my life.
Literary sleight of hand and outright fraud. There are at least 9 surprisingly mundane tricks that make up any successful prophecy.
Okay, give me a second, mister. What exactly was there for Elijah in the mountain to profit from when he was prophesying in the name of Yahweh? What was the profit that Jesus had when he was persecuted by everybody to profit when he was saying his prophecies when the Pharisees wanted him dead? And what was the profit from Jeremiah, whom God called to not marry any woman from Israel because they were apostates, when he was preaching in Yahweh's name? And he wasn't married, and he was saying stuff that were unpopular, and he was not even with a woman, and he was following all that crap. What is the profit? I'm asking you, what is the profit? Because you say there is a profit here. Where exactly did Jeremiah profit from all this crap? Because the book says that he was persecuted for his shit, and we know that at least until he went to Egypt and the exile, he wasn't married and he was in my age. So what exactly is the profit of a person like that? How stupid can you are? I don't know what exactly is in your head with that. Exposing yourself, saying you speak with a deity, nobody believes you because everybody believes in a different deity, and being single. Probably my father told Jeremiah not to marry any woman. That means that Jeremiah wanted to marry actually somebody. And my dad said, no, wait, I have something better for you, probably from Egypt or something like that. What was the purpose of all this? I'm not getting you. Are you saying that Jeremiah and Elijah did BDSM on themselves? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, each video is more retarded than the previous one. I don't know what the fuck is wrong. I don't know. Anyways.
There are at least 9 surprisingly mundane tricks that make up any successful prophecy. So
Okay.
let's expose the con and shatter the mystique, shall we? First up, we have post-diction. If you were to sit down and write a prophecy right now, predicting the January 6, 2021 insurrection, no one would be impressed. But if you pretend that you wrote the prediction in 2015, well, you might just be heralded as a prophet. The book of Daniel is the
Nobody has ever done this. Not even the mystics have done this. Can you see what I mean when I say this guy's stupid? I don't know anybody who has ever done this shit. Not even a mystic from Zeus has ever done this. There is no reason to do that. Why do this? You say for profit. What profit, actually? Like, not saying to somebody, like you haven't said, for example, in October that there will be something with Trump on January. Then something on January happens, you say that you knew it, and you come after that and you take money. How? Like, and how are you believed by everybody when you haven't spoken anything beforehand? What you say is so ignorant and so stupid. Fuck my life. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. Seriously, I don't know how your brain works. Like, each time you speak, I'm trying to understand how your brain works, but each time it gets even worse than the previous one. And yes, this is fair use. I'm actually doing satire in here, but I'm a prophet as well.
poster child for this scam. For centuries, believers have marveled at Daniel's prophetic accuracy in predicting the rise and fall of ancient empires. Except the book wasn't written in the 6th century BC when Daniel supposedly lived. It was written in the 2nd century BCE.
No.
Hi, I'm a missionary for
Fuck,
the Church of Jesus Christ of
advertisements.
Latter-day Saints. I chose to be a missionary because as I
It was written in the 2nd century BCE.
No, it was not written in the 2nd century BC. You are lying, and I don't have to say anything more than that. You are lying. That book is not from the 2nd century. The last book we have from the Hebrew Bible is 5 centuries before Christ was born. And if you wanna believe all the crap that you read on the internet and from scholars like my teacher Andrew has, that's your problem. It's not mine. Okay, I'm not gonna discuss anything other than that.
During the reign of Antiochus IV.
Okay, whatever.
After all of those predicted events had already happened.
The book of Daniel is not about the empires of the air. I don't know what commentary you are reading. Probably you are reading Google again. You have studied Google very well, and my teacher Andrew has. But anyways, I'm not gonna discuss more about that. The book of Daniel is not about the breaking news of politics of the 2nd century, because in case you haven't noticed, nobody cares about that. It's a book that is about the end times. It has prophecies about the end times. It's about the Antichrist. It's about future kingdoms that are spiritual kingdoms, and I don't know any serious commentary. Not even scholars say the bullshit you say. Yes, there are some scholars who say that Daniel speaks about Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and so on, but it is debated. They didn't say they know, they say they question. And not all Christians believe that, and Daniel doesn't speak about that, because ultimately it's about the end times. They are just trying to understand what they say. Learn to understand the difference between trying to interpret a prophecy with saying you know what the prophecy is all about. I don't know how your brain works, mister, honestly. I don't know what is wrong with you. Something is definitely wrong with you, but anyways, what the fuck is wrong with this level? Can I start a battle?
The evidence for this is overwhelming. The book
Overwhelming?
accurately predicts historical events right up until Antiochus IV's persecution of the Jews, but then suddenly gets the next predictions abysmally wrong. The linguistic style...
Yes, because the book is actually about the end times. You get what I mean? I don't know what is wrong with your comprehension here, honestly. It's about the end times, and you say it changed style. Yes, obviously the guy was in Babylon. You get what I mean? He was not in Judea. I live in UK. Just because I am a Greek, that doesn't mean that I don't have inherited, let's put it that way, like that I haven't adapted myself in the linguistic style that people talk in this country. Yeah, that's why it changed. Yes, he was a Hebrew, but he was also a Babylonian. He was working for the Babylon king. What the fuck is wrong with your comprehension at this point?
Aramaic sections, the Greek loanwords, everything screams.
Yes, the Greek loanwords, you get why? Because my country was the center of civilization in that era. You get what I mean? Greece is the center of Western civilization from pretty much the 6th century, even a little bit before that, but anyway, 6th century to pretty much the 2nd, and even further we continue to be allied for civilization even in the Byzantine Empire. What the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly, I don't know. You say Greek loanwords. Sir, I don't want to scare the crap out of your butthole or your mouth, because usually you crap from your mouth, specifically speaking. But the majority of the words that you speak are loan words from my language. For example, you say prophecy. Prophecy is actually a Greek word. It's prophetia. I don't know. That maybe that means that you also say lies. I don't know. Maybe you are post-dixing how you call that word, and you think you say a prophecy, but you are actually tricking us for money and views, because that's what you do with this video, anyways. But saying that there are Greek loan words, do you know how many loan words you have in Greece, from Greece, in your language? And you are speaking about science all the time. All the biological and scientific words that you speak are actually Greek. But biology, biologia, it's a Greek word. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this guy. Honestly, I'm done trying to understand how his brain works. That's all I'm gonna say.
Late composition, which is why scholars almost universally agree that Daniel wasn't a prophetically accurate early work, but was a later composition. For more on that, check out this video I did with Dr. Josh Bowen. Next, we have...
I don't know what scholars you read. Probably you read Andrew Haas. That's probably your problem. I'm trying to tell you here, he's not very accurate as a scholar. He was telling us that Jesus had sex with Apostle Mark in a tent, and he was presenting it as if it is a historical fact. So if you are reading my ex-teacher, no, he's not very accurate. Just pick better your scholars next time. I agree here with my ex. Pick a serious scholar and a scholarly enough document to quote in your scholarly enough videos on YouTube. Okay, thank you.
Prophetic performance. Is something really prophetic if you're aware of the prediction and are just acting it out? Allow me to...
Nobody has ever done that though.
Demonstrate. My friend Steve wrote a prophecy this morning.
And actually, that's very prophetic of you, because I speak with Steven and you are actually stealing now my imaginary friend, and I don't know how to feel about that. Anyways.
The man in the black hat, in the shadow of the great old one, shall drink water with a spoon. Well, the great old one is clear.
What you did there was an attempt to do divination, and you are actually very good at it, but that's not prophecy, that's divination. Learn to differentiate between divination and prophecy, and then we will discuss why they come into fruition sometimes. Thank you.
Really Cthulhu. I'll just hold him right here between me and the light. Grab a black hat. And voila! Prophecy fulfilled. Now, you could spend all day doing this, staging unfulfilled prophecies from every religion and patting yourself on the back for being divine. But that's not evidence of prophecy.
That's not evidence of an actual person. I don't know anybody who has done that. I don't know how your brain works. Like, saying something like that, and for what reason? I don't know. Like, I know there are prophets who are legit prophets. There are divinators that are actually doing divination. There are then scammers who do it either for money, or they say they talk with an entity they don't, and we have to deal there with a very aggressive form of false prophecy. that's my expertise though. Like I am dealing with these people and why they do this. There are people who lie. They say that they talk with Yahweh and they actually speak with Zeus. And that's actually another part of my job as well. I expose such people as well. But then there are people who I don't know where I go. Okay. Yeah, there are people also who lie, as I said, and yeah, you have to dismantle them, and that's my job. That's what I say. I'm trying here to play well, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, okay, critical. Okay, that's good. But I still don't know anybody who will deceive themselves that they have divine powers by saying lies beforehand about anything and say them beforehand and then deceive people. I don't know how this works, sir, but I don't think anybody else knows how this works. That's your understanding and it's completely delulu. I don't know how else to call it.
It's performance art, and yet you have Jesus doing exactly that in the Gospel of Matthew.
Who?
He rides into Jerusalem.
Jesus did exactly that. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this
on a
guy.
donkey specifically to fulfill Zechariah 9:9. That's not a mystical prediction unfolding. It's someone deliberately checking a prophetic box.
I will scare you probably if I explain why this happened. It was because Jesus is God. And when my dad says he will do something, that's what happened there. He actually makes sure to fulfill it. So he did it as if to say, do you remember when I said in the Bible, this will happen? Don't be afraid. I fulfilled it. I am here. I am with you. That's what he did. That it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy because it's God doing it. Everything that happens is something that God does. I don't know how your brain works, sir. I try to understand you, but I can't understand you. I don't know how your brain works. I don't know.
And riding a donkey is literally a prophecy that anyone can fulfill.
No, they can't fulfill it if they have done also miracles and they died for you and everything like that is recorded in a book full of prophecies centuries before that guy was born and you were born and all of us are born. Are you doing this for fun? Because if you're doing it for fun, you're actually very ridiculous.
And slumped over the back of a donkey.
An actual prophecy would require divine foresight. This is just human choreography.
Yeah, it's divine choreography actually. It's my dad because my dad said I will do it. He said, don't be afraid, Jerusalem. Your king is coming. He is humble and he is riding a donkey. My father spoke comfortingly to his wife, Jerusalem, and he said, don't be afraid, I come to you riding a donkey. His wife is his people, everybody, each of us are his wife. That's divine language, that's spirit language. And he fulfilled it as if to say, as I said, don't be afraid, I am here, I remember what I said, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it happen. That's what happened there, bestie. Make your facts straight.
Number 3, vagueness and ambiguity.
Okay, that's divination again.
Prophecies are vague. In a world full of failed predictions, why risk prophetic failure by making specific testable predictions with dates, names, and places when you can craft cryptic riddles that mean everything and nothing?
Because you are mixing again prophecy with divination. What you said about having dates and specific data, that's actually prophecy because it comes from Yahweh and Yahweh gives specific details. And now you speak about vagueness and something that is actually general, that's divination. I don't know how to do the analysis when you're mixing up different genres. You are mixing maths with literature and you question why they look alike. They don't. They are not the same thing. What the fuck is wrong with your comprehension?
Simultaneously, Nostradamus was the undisputed master of this technique. His quatrains are so vague and metaphorical that they've been retrofitted to predict everything from Hitler's rise to 9/11. Fire.
Yeah, that's not a problem of Nostradamus, though. It's something that people do with what he has written, and it's not his fault if they do that with his writings, first and foremost. And secondly, just because there are people who do that, that doesn't mean that Nostradamus ever said that he's a prophet. I don't know if he said that. If he did it, good for him, I suppose. But just because somebody claims that he's a prophet, that doesn't mean that he is actually a prophet. Even a truthful prophet has to distinguish a false prophet. Like, that's just because false prophets exist, that doesn't mean that real prophets don't exist. What is your problem to understand that? And why do you have so much problem distinguishing a real prophet from a divinator and a false prophet from a false divinator? What's your issue with these categories?
From the sky could literally mean bombing raids, meteor strikes,
Yeah.
spaceship re-entry, embers
Yeah.
from the California fires, a really aggressive firework display,
Yes.
skydivers with sparklers, whatever the fuck this is, or this Rammstein performance.
Yes, because what you describe is divination. It's supposed to be like that. What is your issue with this? Like distinguishing that. It's not that. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, bestie. It's not.
Skydivers with sparklers, whatever the fuck this is, or this Rammstein performance. Biblical prophecy employs the same strategy. The book of Revelation is stuffed with dragons, beasts, and trumpets, so symbolic they've been fulfilled dozens of times throughout history.
Just because they say they have been fulfilled, that doesn't mean they have been fulfilled. You don't get it right. Like, how do you know they have been fulfilled? Like you say they have. How the hell do you know that? I'm not getting you, bestie. I'm not. I honestly don't. It's a prediction about the end times, right? Can we agree into that? If it is a prediction about the end times, then how do you say that it has been fulfilled when like these things will happen before Jesus comes back, right? That's what it says. So how can you say that they have been fulfilled when we don't have like any clue that they have been fulfilled? Because we don't, like, you don't have anybody telling you, like, you don't have God or anybody telling you that I lost, maybe I have to upgrade my equipment. Finding the double trouble of Bliss and Sandy to be too much, focusing one of them first and the other. I've done that. So you need somebody to quit chapter. I will quit the chapter. So you need somebody to verify you that something of these things have been done, and even then, I will go to the castle and buy new equipment. Even then, that's what I'm saying. You will need to understand what the book is about. For example, you speak about the end times prophecies. Yeah, are you so sure that you know what they are all about? Because you don't. Fuck my life. I don't know what is wrong with this guy. Like, as a person who knows what the revelation of John says, because I am a prophet, it speaks about the Antichrist. Yes, I will go to a different area so I can buy more equipment, because I can see I can't buy them here, something like that. Yeah, so it says that everything will be like fulfilled before the return of Christ. So you have to see several signs, and you say they have been fulfilled. Has any prophet or God revealed to you that these things have been fulfilled? No. So how can you say they have been, just because some people say that? I'm not getting you, bestie.
Christians is convinced they're living in the end times because the symbols are flexible enough to accommodate any crisis. And when have we not seen wars and rumors of wars? To be truly impressive, a real prophecy should be hyper-specific and testable, not this ambiguous hogwash. And then there's retrospective interpretation. Sometimes the prophecies are specific, and it's clear to everyone at the time that they're written what they're actually about. But later readers, hoping to make the prophecy about their present time, will either deliberately reinterpret or accidentally misinterpret the text.
Okay,
So
whatever. I can't prove an idiot that he's an idiot. Whatever. If you gonna believe what you say, it's your problem. I'm not gonna do you the favor and explain to you everything, bestie. It's your problem, not mine. Okay. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Okay, I will go now.
With enough theological lubricant, you can make these square pegs fit just about any hole. Take Isaiah 7:14, for
What
example.
the fuck?
The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son. Christians turned this into a prophecy of Jesus' virgin birth.
No, we didn't turn it. That's a historical fact. What the fuck is wrong with you? And if you are like, how do you know it is a historical fact? Because we have the Gospels, that's historical documents. Because they speak about a historical person that existed. Just because it doesn't correspond with your American understanding of history, that doesn't mean that it doesn't correspond with my culture. It's not mythology for a Greek, the gospel. The reason that the Greeks believed in Jesus was because we had our mythologies like Bacchae for Dionysus or Homer for like Odysseus and so on. And even then we knew that these guys existed. We just knew that the stories are symbolic, but we still knew that these guys have existed. Like the War of Troy is an actual event that took place, but we just embellished it with like symbolic mythological elements. But still, we treated it as like a spiritual story. When we learned about Jesus, we knew that this is a historical fact because it was indifferent with the way that we saw spirituality and the way we understood the world. Our histories, it's completely aligned with what the apostles were saying. That's why we believed them, because we are very logical people. And just because you wanna treat as history a book that is written by a guy that is referenced by other 5 guys, and you think this is like so-called like critical and unbiased, that doesn't mean that it actually is. Okay, I'm just telling you here.
Despite the original being about a local political situation in 8th century BCE Judah, the Hebrew word Alma doesn't even mean virgin. It just means young woman.
In the Hebrew Bible, it says a young woman has conceived and will bear a son.
Okay, so you are using Bart Ehrman, who I think check my dissertation. I think I used Bart Ehrman there to debunk stupidity about the Bible. But Bart Ehrman has said many times that Jesus was born in Cairo, Egypt, and it's one of the, I don't know, this guy has said that Jesus is a mythological person and he's appropriating my culture in every corner that he walks. So I don't know why we discuss about Bart Ehrman to begin with, but even if this is the case, this is not the only instance that the Bible talks about the Virgin Mary. The Bible talks all the time about the Virgin Mary. That's not the only instance. There are many prophecies about this woman, and that's up to you if you like it or not. Okay, I'm not gonna discuss about that. It's your problem if you don't wanna acknowledge that.
The Hebrew word is Alma, a young woman. It's not Bethula, which means a virgin.
Sometimes you can even take non-prophecies and reinterpret them as such because they seem to mirror future events. Take Psalm 22, where David is describing his woes and states, "They pierce my hands and my feet."
That's what it says.
Love pointing to this as a prophecy about the crucifixion of Jesus.
Yeah, that's what it writes though. That's what it writes. Yeah, it says that they pierced my hands and my feet, and it's not debatable.
But it isn't. And hilariously, the Hebrew text doesn't actually even say pierce.
Okay,
the Masoretic
whatever.
text describes his hands being torn away.
The Masoret text and the Madagascarian text and whatever, the Hebrew text says exactly that. And if you don't wanna see it, okay, turn a blind eye, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I seriously don't know how your brain works, as I said, but this is what it says. My Bible is also very ancient, and that's what it says. And no, the Greeks wouldn't turn something like that and distort it? For what reason? Like, as I said, even if this is not a valid prophecy, there are other prophecies to verify the existence of this guy and all of them. The prophecies are not there to prove the existence of God, they are there to comfort his people. So what you say comes from a point of ignorance, because you are trying to say that some people wanted to deceive people, but no, the prophecies are there to comfort God's people. They are not there to deceive anybody. So even if what you say is okay, the Bible is full of prophecies about the existence of Jesus later, like that he would come and he would do this and that. And even if this is distorted, as you say, that doesn't prove anything, because there are other passages. And even if we didn't have the Old Testament, still God would do anything and like bring himself back on the earth like that and die for our sins. That doesn't change it. It's just a way to communicate with us and be in our level, nothing more than that.
Like a lion, suggesting the original text was corrupted, but centuries of Christian interpretation have turned a textual corruption problem into a prophetic triumph.
Dogs
Okay.
have encompassed me, a company of evildoers have surrounded me, and then if you have a Christian Bible, it'll say, they pierced my hands and my feet. That sounds like crucifixion. But in Hebrew, it says Ka'ari, and Ari is a lion.
And then there's the reworking of,
Say, they
What does
pierced
he
my hands
say?
and my
What the
feet.
fuck?
That sounds like crucifixion. But
How
in
many liars are out there? A company of evildoers have enclosed me like a lion. They are at my hands and my feet. Okay, as I said, even if this is the case, which is not, I'm also from an ancient civilization, okay, and that's the only reason I use it. That doesn't mean anything, okay. There are other prophecies, and even if Christians have turned that, which doesn't make any sense, why should we turn a prophecy like that? For what reason? I don't know why you say that, and even if it is the case, there are other prophecies there. No problem.
Hebrew, it says Ka'ari, and Ari is a lion.
And then there's the reworking of failures. The real masterpiece of prophetic apologetics is reinterpretation after failure. When prophecies crash and burn, true believers don't admit defeat. They move the goalposts and declare victory anyways. Evangelical prophets mastered this when they predicted that Trump would win the 2020 US presidential election.
Yeah, because as I said, I used already this example. That's my win here. I said it already. If you predict that Trump will win the elections, that's divination. I explained it already. I can't explain to you why it is divination, but it is because it doesn't help anybody knowing that. Like, it's like God is taking side and saying, I don't want Kamala Harris to win, but it's not him deciding that, it's us. And if we don't want Kamala Harris and we want Trump, God will support either of them, and he has a good opinion for both of them. So what you say is ignorant and very, I don't know what the fuck. Honestly, I don't understand you.
They prophesied that
If you prophesied 8 years, is it that it's 4 now and 4 later?
No, it is not. It's 4 continual years.
The Lord has anointed and has appointed Trump to be a president a second term. It's not 2024. It's right now in the next couple of weeks.
The Democrats are not going to win for decades to come. You're not going to see another Democrat in the White House for decades, I don't believe, if ever again, right now at this point, because they are literally...
So why are you putting, I don't know, I don't understand, why are you putting circus music into that? What is the circus with that? I don't understand. They're not saying anything bad, like, I don't know, like, yeah, they said it, yeah, and so, what's your issue with that? What's your fucking issue with that? I don't understand. Fuck my life.
Literally the destruction of the Democratic Party.
It's not for him to run in 2024. It's for him to go into office now.
Ooh, actual specific prophecies. Nice. But when these prophecies failed spectacularly, they claimed the election was stolen, that it was a spiritual victory, that the prophecy actually meant 2024, or that God was testing their faith.
Yeah, just because they said it, that doesn't mean though that maybe they indeed understood something from God. I don't say that. I'm just explaining. Maybe indeed they understood something wrong. Maybe because they're humans, as Sarah says. Maybe they. I don't know this game. I don't know why they are hitting me so much. Maybe they are lying. Maybe indeed there was a fraud in the elections. Maybe there wasn't a fraud in the elections. I don't know. I don't understand your point still. What is this? The connection this has with the Bible? I don't understand what is the connection this discussion has with the Bible. Just because somebody lies, does that disprove the Bible? What is the there is no connection.
Similarly, Jehovah's Witnesses have also turned reworking failed prophecies into an art form.
Okay, exactly. The Jehovah's Witnesses, we see them as heretics. We don't agree with them. We think that they are cult, and to some extent I agree with that because they are lying about how my dad looks like. They say that Jesus is a fallen angel. I agree with that. I agree how they call them like a cult. But I don't see where the connection here is with the Bible, because this is a group that the Christians have called a cult for centuries, for decades, sorry.
World would end in 1914, then 1925.
Yeah, and Christians have condemned them as false prophecies for the same reasons that you do it too. So why are you putting them in the pedestal and say that they are the same thing with the Bible? I don't understand.
In 1975, and each time the world refused to cooperate.
Yeah, and my father also said in the Bible that many people will say Jesus is there, Jesus is here, don't believe these guys because they're gonna lie in my name. So exactly what's your point again, sir?
Well, they reinterpreted the prophecy. Jesus returned invisibly. The judgment began spiritually, or the timeline was just slightly off. When prophetic failure isn't even an option, you're basically playing tennis without the net. Jesus himself catastrophically bombed his prediction in Matthew 16:28 that some of his disciples would live to see his second coming. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man.
Yeah, what he says there is not what you think it says. It's not a failure of prophecy. It says that some people, aka the 11 apostles, will be with him in heaven, and the Judas is a devil. That's what he said. He spoke about Judas, and no, he didn't say that Judas will go to hell. He just said that there are some people who, even if they die, that's in John, even if you die, you still are alive. And he also says, he says, I am the God of Abraham. That means that he's a God of living people, not he was the God of Abraham. He is the God of Abraham, aka he is the living God. So what's your problem, sir?
Coming in his kingdom. 2,000 years and 12 disciple deaths later, that is a rather inconvenient failure from the God of 2 billion Christians, who now have to utilize all sorts of mental gymnastics in their reinterpretations of this verse.
There is no interpretation. Not tasting death is something that even is attributed to Enoch. He didn't taste death because he was taken, right? And I don't understand what you mean here. Like, this is a phrase that has a spiritual meaning. Nobody said that they would go directly there, like Enoch, for example. That was for Enoch. Yes, I brought him in the table to prove you that you can use this phrase and even mean Enoch, but that doesn't mean that he said exactly that. And I never had a question with that, and I don't know what you are talking about. Like, that we are doing gymnastics. Do gymnastics with this for what? Like, why should I deceive anybody about that? Like, I'm not even monetizing my videos. Why should I play gymnastics with anybody about that? What would be my point? I'm not seeing any point in what you are saying. Like, I don't have any reason to do that. Like, if the Christians were persecuted, they were persecuted for what? I'm not making any sense.
You don't need
Like,
to search hard
persecuted for a lying. Why do that?
Who now have to utilize all sorts of mental gymnastics in their reinterpretations of this verse. And then there's open-ended timelines. See, to avoid these embarrassing prophetic failures, a smart prophet employs open-ended timelines. Because why set a specific testable date when your sheep will be just as impressed by predictions of things happening in the last days or eventually? This is why Christians love to focus on the verse stating that no one knows the day or the hour of Jesus' second coming. Despite 2,000 years of waiting, he's still coming any minute now.
No, he's not coming any minute now. That's not accurate at all. It doesn't say that. It says that after some events will have happened, and a prophet like me, for example, will confirm this, then it will happen, but you don't know the hour when this will happen, because the point is that it doesn't matter when it will happen. It matters that it will happen. That's all it matters. You are getting it completely wrong, and I seriously can't help you with that, because you don't want to understand where we are coming from with our belief.
And then we have historical revisionism.
Okay.
Now, I've already demonstrated how easy it is to fulfill prophecy. But
No, it's not.
sometimes you're writing after the fact, and you just want to sprinkle a little more prophetic pizzazz on top. So
No.
you simply rewrite history itself, making up events that never happened to make it seem like a prophecy was fulfilled. The Gospel of Matthew claims that Herod ordered the massacre of all male infants in Bethlehem.
Yes.
This supposedly fulfills Jeremiah's prophecy about Rachel weeping for her children.
Yes.
But this massacre never happened. Not only does it make...
Excuse me, that's a historical fact about my culture. What do you mean it didn't happen? Herod the Great was known to kill even people of his own like family tree. We know that he was a ruler in my empire, the Roman Empire. We were called Romans back in the days in Greece, and yeah, we know Herod, this king, even like he was like Empress Irene of Athens. He was like murdering even people of his own family. What do you mean with that?
Absolutely zero sense. But not a single historian, including Josephus, who thoroughly documented Herod's many atrocities, mentioned this event. When you want to fulfill...
I'm not getting you, sir. The Gospel of Matthew is a historical fact, and as I said, as a Greek, I know that this guy was very much like a mass murderer. He was like he was like Creon, and we know that in Greece. Like his name, when we say Herodes, that's the name in Greek. Like he's a synonym like Vlad the Impaler. I don't know what he means. Like, are we putting like the Herod now in the washing machine? I don't know. Who's next? Stalin, the Austrian painter? Who is next, sir? I don't know, because this is... I don't know, honestly. What do you mean? Not even him? Yeah, not even him. But others have, because this is how I know this guy as a Greek.
Prophecy, but the evidence doesn't cooperate. Just make up the history you need.
Okay,
and if
whatever.
Are good enough for you, you can always just shotgun out predictions and play the
Okay, we're putting Herod in the washing machine. What the I see, our frozen friend has finally decided to join us. A pale imitation of the real thing, of course, but still, any ally in the fight against Bowser Jr. is a welcome sight indeed. I suggest we withdraw to Princess Peach's castle to get our new companion up to speed.
Because if you make enough prophecies,
So in the Hebrew Bible,
Okay, so I will quit the video because I'm tired and the video will get very long. And I will continue him tomorrow, and I will continue all the videos tomorrow that I will have. Hope you enjoyed so far. I'm really tired and I think the video will not get enjoyable if I continue. So hope you enjoy it, and so far I will continue him. We are in the mark 10 minutes. I have other 4 minutes to talk. So far he put Herod in the washing machine. I guess the next one is the Austrian painter, the Stalin. I don't know, we can put other people, Vlad. They are all... Richard III, obviously. Richard, he's a good guy. He was a good uncle. He didn't murder his nephews, the prince in the tower. Go on, sir, you can do this. You are more powerful than everybody. You can do this. Well done. Well done, sir. Put all the massacres and all the serial killers of the world in the washing machine and say that they were good guys and like misrepresented by history. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so see you tomorrow, Ze, I suppose. Let's say good night here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, idiot.